Yo, what's up? Duff here. I just realized that I did some very poor planning for this live stream. I just went in the refrigerator to see what I had for alcoholic beverages, and I have a couple Alcolos left, and that's it. That's all I got. I mean, unless I'm going to go to the hard liquor or something. So we'll see how it goes, man. Welcome to Just Live PEV stream 119. Wanted to start off. Yes, Blue Collar Jose. This. I will explain what's going on here about dual streams. I will explain that shortly. But anyways, I wanted to start off by thanking my channel members. I've had in the last week, I've had like 1, 2, 3. I've had 5 new channel members in the last week, which is awesome. Let's see. Let's share this screen here. Let's make it big. And let's make me small. All right. I want to go through my channel members. This is ordered from newest to oldest, I believe. But I'm at 29 total members, one away from 30. If I could get to 30 members, I think it unlocks a new perk or something for me from a YouTube member perspective, I believe. All right, so we got Albert Mua 581, Epicure 468, Wenz Joe 80, Animated Limb, Spitfire 1337, Scampster, Mr. Rexy, Medium Dog, Timothy Plumley, Electric Unicycle, also known as Dale, Brian McCann, Michelle Bardaly, MIUC, my EUC. That's interesting. The usernames are showing like additional parts on it, like there's these numbers at the end, which I don't know why it's showing me numbers now all of a sudden for some people. Blue Collar Jose, Michael Lenardic, Philip Arnold, Planet Iceland, Simonisms, used to be E Simon, now it's Simonisms. I guess Simon changed his name. DJ Whiteflower, Babbitt the Wabbit, On Air Promo, Larry Zarkov, A Viking, Brian Gonzalez, Doug Yetman, Rabbit Murray, Rocky Top, Senator Perry. These last 3 have been channel members for 56 months. Senator Perry, Marty Eakin, and AULD Moner. I think that name changed too. I thought the name was different before, but whatever. Those are my current channel members, 29 of them. Thank you for your support. I try to recognize my members in videos whenever I can, and I also try to release videos to my members first. Normally, I will do that for most members or for most videos, but not like shorts and stuff. Shorts, I don't do that, but most of the videos I would release to my channel members first, including all these Inmotion P6 videos I've been doing. All right, so the dual stream thing. StreamYard introduced a new feature where they call the acronym is MARS. I don't remember. Is it like multi-aspect something streaming, I believe. So what it's doing is, like on my screen, you can't see it, but it's doing 2 different streams. One is conventional widescreen format. One is phone format, vertical. You may remember a while back, I was doing test streams where I was doing vertical streaming, and it actually got a lot more views because a lot of people are on their phones and a lot of people are watching stuff on phones. And when you are streaming on a vertical format, that is pushed to someone's feed on their phone. I got away from it because it's kind of, you can't see things as well. It's not as easy to show things. So now it's take your pick. If you want to watch it in your phone in vertical format, you can. Or if you want to watch it conventionally, like I usually watch live streams on a PC, you can do that as well. So pick your aspect ratio and size, and I can accommodate it, which I think is kind of cool. I don't know. I think it's cool. We'll see. We'll see what the numbers say at the end of it. But it merges the comments together. So I'm seeing all the comments from both the streams. So which would show up on the screen here. So I don't think. Okay, yeah. See, it sounds like Dale might be. I think what's happening is like if you normally watch a stream on your phone, and you're used to seeing the wide format on your phone, it might look weird because it might be showing you the vertical format by default. I'm not quite sure. First time doing it, so. Mr. Rexy, first commenter in here. Channel member, Mr. Rexy. Leo from Brazil's made it. What's up, all? And Dale. Dale's here. Yet another channel member. Dale saying this is in a weird format. Okay, so, it's interesting. I can see I can see who's watching it in what format on the comments. If you are watching it on a phone, I see a little phone icon. Interesting. Okay. So yeah. So Dale, you can if you go to my channel, you can still watch it with the wide format if you want to. But I think because you're on a phone, it's going to default to showing you this format. Blue Collar Jose channel member, yes, 2 live streams. Yep. Scamster, man, my channel members are coming in strong. It's who just sent me a message? Dale did, of course. Let's see, what's Dale saying? Yeah, Dale, that's what it should look like. Yeah, you're seeing the vertical format screen. That's what it looks like. That is how it should look, unless you want to watch it the other way, and then you would just pick the other stream. There are 2 live streams running off my channel right now. NTDI 5838. Where's the PNAR 6? PNAR 6. It's PNAR 6 is right here. You can see it on the narrow screen and the full screen feed. I had to do some arranging to make sure you could. It's sitting right there. It's very happy. Dale, how do we change it back? You just need to pick the other stream on my channel. Let's see, can I do this? I think it'll allow me to do this. I can put in the comments the link to the wide format stream. I think you'll see it because I'm hosting. I think I can post a link. Yeah, that should be the link to the wide format if you prefer it. Leo says it's just that on my phone is wide and on the TV is vertical. Oh, okay. Interesting. Like I said, if you use that link I just posted in the chat, I think that'll get you back to the way you're used to seeing it. Who just sent me a message? Okay, that's Telegram. Let's see. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, so that worked for Dale using that link. If you want to go old school, use that link that I put in the chat. Larry, another channel member. Hey guys, multitasking and then have to run to class, but I'll be listening in and contributing if I can. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. You too, Larry. It is, I guess, yeah, it's true. It is Thanksgiving Eve, right? It's Thanksgiving Eve. I didn't really think about that, but it's Thanksgiving Eve. Hopefully everyone has their Thanksgiving preparations in order. Of course, you guys over in Australia are probably going, what the hell is that? Or, well, you probably know what it is, but I don't think you really care. Okay. Guys, switch it to the wide. That's fine. Yeah, whatever. I think the vertical format will be a way to attract new eyeballs. It'll just hit their feed where it would not, like the widescreen format live stream is not going to hit someone's phone feed by default. But this vertical format does. Scamster, how's the P2S? I might buy 3 next year. I love it, man. I don't know if you can hear it or not. I think it's isolated from the mic, but it's running right now. I've done a couple of prints on it. I sold my P1S today. So I listed it on Facebook Marketplace and sold it within like an hour. Sold it cheap. I sold it for $400 with an AMS. But the P2S is great. It's really nice. I love that it has the full color screen, has a hub. It has a hub that supports multiple AMSs, which was an extra cost option with the P1S. I have 2 AMSs connected to it right now. Has better lighting, has the redesigned print head. It's great. I really like it. And it was $7.99. You can get the P1S on Bamboo Lab. They're doing like a blowout on them. I think it's like, is it $2.99 or $3.99? Might be, yeah. I think it's $3.99, but that's not without an AMS on Bamboo Lab. Okay, so Leo normally watches on TV and the phone to type. Okay, that's creative. That's very creative. Do we see comments made on both? Yes, like what you see the comments on the screen, Dale. If you're looking at just YouTube comments, I'm not sure. Probably not. Like if you're just looking on the YouTube interface, you're probably only seeing the comments made for that live stream. So if you want to see the aggregate comments, check out what's on screen. Luke Collar Jose taking advantage of another member perk. You get a free super chat style message. I don't know if a lot of people know how to do that, Jose, because it seems like you're the only one that normally takes advantage of that. But that's fine. Leo says, "Great Thanksgiving to the ones that will have it." Yeah. This is going to be a much more traditional Thanksgiving for me than last year. Those of you may or may not remember. Last year around Thanksgiving, I wasn't in a really great place mentally, and things weren't going as I hoped. In past years, like I've gone to visit family in Pennsylvania, in Texas on Thanksgiving. I didn't feel like doing any of that last year. And instead, my Thanksgiving celebration was working on my fence. If you look on my live stream list, you'll see a live stream from last Thanksgiving when I had my phone out the window and I did a brief stream of me doing fence repairs. That was it. This year will be better. So, Jose, I've had a bunch of people ask me that. What's your average speed on the P6? Like, if I looked on the app, it said 21, but I mean that's through all the stops. That's through all the combination of slower riding I was doing with faster riding. I would say the more realistic speed was 25 to I don't know 35. Top speed was 40 miles an hour during the ride. But like I said, I did a big mix of terrain and conditions there. So, but the majority of the mileage was going open roads faster. Rexy likes this. Okay, Rexy likes vertical. Yeah, sweet. This way, this gives you an option. Whatever floats your boat. You can go vertical, go wide, whatever. Dale was able to like both lives. Good, man. That's good. Yeah, I mean, this is in theory. This is a way to like probably not double up the views on the live streams, but to increase them significantly. I hope so. Scamster, you just got another mini? Really? An A1 mini? To help with the load, I print for a market stall every weekend. Oh, really? Okay, cool. The minis, I mean, they're blowing them out. They're super, super cheap. I have my A1 here as well. I don't print on the A1 very much, but I do have it here. It does still work just fine. How many printers do you have altogether, Scamster? Scamster, P2S sold out here at the moment. Yeah, well, I ordered mine. Yeah, that was another thing I did a short about. I ordered mine Wednesday afternoon, like late Wednesday afternoon. They were announced to be on the U.S. store Wednesday, and during the day I was like fighting the urge to buy it. Oh my God, do I want to buy it? I don't really need it, but I really like that upgrade over the P1S. And finally, like, I don't know, 4:45 on Wednesday, I ordered it. And the thing actually showed up at my house on Saturday. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how quickly they turned that around. Came via FedEx. So like 3 days. 3 days I had the P2S. And it's now sitting on my bench where the P1S was, and it's doing just fine. Dale, I'm having yes, Dale, I'm having a Alcolo. And these are the alcoholic drinks that are. This is Whistling Diesel's company. Has 8% alcohol volume. They usually get me drunk pretty quick, but I only have 2 of them. So, and you may notice that the camera angle is different. Like usually I'm shooting up so you can see my cool RGB lights, but I have it pointing down so you can see the P6 sitting there. Rex, he says, sucks that YouTube messages aren't combined. Well, you can look on screen. I mean, they are combined on the screen, Rexy. But yeah, I mean, YouTube doesn't, as far as YouTube is concerned, these are 2 different streams. YouTube doesn't understand what StreamYard is doing here. Scamster has 6 printers. Nice. You like the minis? Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, if you're just printing stuff that you don't need any bigger build volume, then that's fine, and they're fast and they're cheap. So, all right, let's talk about the Inmotion P6, which I've had since. Let's see, when did I get it? I got it Sunday a week ago, right? Was it last Sunday? Yeah. Sunday a week ago. Not last Sunday, but the Sunday previous. Yes. Okay. I think I'm getting confused now. What day was that? It was the last day of the demo. When did I? Hold on. Sucks when you can't remember when you do things. I'm just looking at my videos to give me a better idea. Let's see. When did I pick it up? What's the date of that? November 18th. So the 17th. So yeah, it's been like 9 days ago. I picked it up, and I got it at the demo day. After the demo day that they did up in the Clearwater, St. Petersburg area in Florida, had a big turnout. They did 2 full days of demoing that wheel. This is actually the P6 that was in California. This is the P6 that Marty had for approximately 2 weeks out in California. I'm not sure how many P6s are in the rotation out there. I know New York City has one. I think there's at least 1 or 2 more that are being demoed around the country, but this is the one that was out in California. During that demo down here, everybody universally loved it. I heard not one negative thing about it. And they set some crazy speeds on it. Let's see, I think they had 4 people that went 68 miles an hour or faster, with the fastest being 74 miles an hour wheel speed, which is, a little high, but 74 miles an hour during that demo, which is crazy. Fastest I've gone so far is 43. But I don't know. I mean, to me, it's been interesting for me to test this wheel because it seems like the primary focus that has been out there is the top speed, right? The numbers. Look how fast this wheel goes. Look at the power. Look at the guys doing all out full leans and Kuji going 0 to 60 in 6 seconds and change. A lot of focus on that. My perspective is I'm not interested in that aspect of the wheel. Other than having a wheel that has a ridiculous top speed gives me a ridiculous amount of headroom that I don't have to ever worry about getting in trouble, really. But my perspective was like, how is this wheel from a perspective of just the normal everyday rider, which I consider myself to be. I'm not a crazy performance rider at all. And the answer I've gotten so far is amazingly well. The wheel just feels so good, planted, suspension soft. The power is great, and as you can see from my range test, the range is really, really good. 77 miles and change on the range test. I think I wrote it down to 174 volts. Someone mentioned in a comment that 0% on the P6 is 168 volts. So if that's and I wrote it down to 1%. So if that's the case, and he said that I probably could have gotten, if I wanted to go really, really slow, another 3 to 6 miles out of the wheel. And if that's the case, then you're looking at it being an 80-mile range test. For me, I've never seen a whole lot of value about riding down to 0. I usually don't even ride down to 1% because normally it's not usable range. You have to go so slow. Again, with the P6, is kind of redefining that. With the latest firmware that they introduced, even at low battery numbers, you can go stupid fast. At 10% battery, you can still go 36 miles an hour top speed. 5% battery, 31 miles an hour. Even at 1% battery, you can still go 19 miles an hour. I mean, that was faster than the top speed of wheels from 5-6 years ago. So it's really, really impressive, the engineering. Now, those numbers are after that firmware change. Marty did a range test, and there were some issues with his perception of what the wheel was showing as far as what was remaining. And Albert explained to me that it had to do with the way that Inmotion calculates the total battery amount remaining. And he said their goal is to have the wheel be more consistent, because typically with a wheel, the first 50% of battery will seemingly last longer than the last 50%. It'll increase. The way that Inmotion is doing it, their goal is to have it seem more equal. Like they want it to be, if you ride somewhere and you're at 50% battery, you have enough battery to get back. With a lot of wheels, that isn't the case. Like if you ride 30 miles one direction, you're at 50% battery, you're not getting back. You're going to run out of battery before you get back. Inmotion's goal with the way they're doing it is that that you would be able to get back. And it seemed that way. It kind of seemed that way. As I got lower, it seemed to hold battery percentage better than I expected. So that was a lot of rambling. Now I see Marty's face in the comments. Let me go back up here. Marty's all mad because I opened up the range test video going down a set of steps just to prove to him that you can go down steps in the P6 without falling, and he didn't like it. He said my steps were too small. All right. Scamster talking about printers. I have the H2D. I know you have the H2D, an X1C, and A1 if I need bigger. Excellent. Marty, when are you ordering yours? Marty, have you ordered one? I know you're at least initially you were saying you weren't going to. Even though my prediction would be that your pride and ego will make you have to have a P6, because it's not going to sit well with you if other people have P6s when you have one of the biggest collections around and you don't have a P6. So I have a feeling if you did not order one yet, you probably will shortly. And you can confirm or deny that. Unredacted truth. What is the best without breaking the bank 3D printer? 2K grand and under? I can only talk about printers that I've had experience with, and in the last year, it's just been Bamboo Lab printers. The H2D is a nice printer. I think the H2S is a nice value. I really like the H2S, and now they just have come out with the H2C, even though that is above the $2,000 price point, but that is a tool head changer on the H2C. So pick a Bamboo Lab printer, whatever you can afford, and I think you'll like it. I heard Dale complaining about this in comments or on Facebook that they're doing P6 demos all over the USA, but haven't sent a single one to any other countries. Well, I know you said they didn't send any to Australia, so they haven't sent any anywhere. I mean, I mean, maybe that means that the U.S. market is just predominantly bigger than all the other markets. I don't really know. I'm not sure, but I can understand why that would be frustrating. Unredacted truth, waiting on your P6, hoping it hits my house by December 15th. I thought that they were only like landing on the 15th or whatever, or I don't know. Yeah, good. I hope so. Yeah, it'd be great for you, man. Oh, Scamster sort of echoing what I said about Bamboo Lab printers. Yeah. Yeah, get a Bamboo Lab printer, and you won't be sorry. I mean, they're so simple to set up. The P2S. I mean, I've done multiple printers, but the P2S I had set up and doing its calibration within 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. Unredacted truth. Duff. Everyone says the same thing about the P6. That's a good thing. To be honest, I do not like big wheels, but I cannot pass up the P6. Well, as I've mentioned multiple times in multiple videos, the P6 it's a big wheel. But once you're rolling, it's so well balanced and so stable, you don't notice it. And in fact, it almost feels like an advantage because I think that weight aids its stability. The only time a couple times where the weight bothered me was there's several instances where I came to a stop and I wasn't paying close enough attention to how the wheel was sitting, and it tipped over the balance point and started to get away from me. And saving that thing was not easy because it's 112 pounds. And same thing when I'm coming to a stop. Sometimes, like I would come to a stop, and if the wheel's still rolling a little bit, I had to hop a little bit on my leg that was down on the ground, and that's part of the reason that my knees feel like they do after doing that for 77 miles. So, but I mean, if you're just talking about how the wheel feels when riding, it does not feel as heavy as it is. Not at all. Unredacted truth, I like my Patent S more than all the other wheels I own and tried. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I've run through scenarios of if I would decide to get a P6, and if I would decide to get a P6, I would be getting rid of at least one, if not two, wheels in my collection. And the Patent would probably be one of the wheels I would be getting rid of, not because there's anything wrong with it. I love my Patent, but for what the Patent gives me, the V12S can give me the same thing as the Patent does. So the Patent would probably be one of the wheels on the chopping block. Unredacted truth has had the Lynx and the L. Really? Okay. Well, up until the P6, Marty declared the L as the greatest wheel of all time. But now he said the P6 is, which is another reason that I can't believe that he won't get one. Dale misses his Patent S. Yeah, Patent's a great wheel. Unredacted truth, up to 40 miles an hour. That thing is great fun. Yeah, I've had my Patent over 40. I'm getting old, 53 years. Are you? Okay, well, I'm 57. I'm going to be 58 next month. So I hear you. And I don't fly either. I fly for very short periods of time. So, unredacted truth. I mean, I will cruise the P6 like 55. Okay, we'll see. I won't cruise at 55. I might touch 55 when I do my. Those are the two things I need to do yet. I need to do a speed test for me, not a top speed test, obviously. See if because I've never wheel speed. I've never crossed 50. I've hit like 49.6 or something on. I don't even remember what wheel it was. It might have been the EX30. I don't remember what wheel it was. So I'm hoping to finally do that on the P6. But it's funny that you view cruising at 55 as slow. Boy, reality has changed in the EUC community. Panther PEV, any wobble at all? My V13 took me out 1.5 years ago. I quit riding, ordered a P6. No, that's the thing. And I talked about, wobbles a little bit when I did the range test. I've all the most recent wheels that I've done like evaluations on, the V9, the Aero, the V12S. I've had elements of wobbles, either sometimes when riding, like I have to just carve to kind of smooth those out, or braking. The V13 can be a little weird at times too. There's definitely a longer acclimation curve for the V13. With the P6, I have not. I mean, at this point now, I've ridden that thing well over 100 miles, and it's just easy. It's one of those wheels. There are a few select wheels that you can just step on and go, and there's really no weirdness. They've done such a good job with that wheel, in my opinion. Inmotion's been doing a really good job with their wheels for a while, but the P6 is just excellent, in my opinion. Dale says, in regards to why there's been no wheels sent anywhere else but the United States, maybe because it's Americans are generally the loudest. Well, that's true. That is true. I can't dispute that. Thanks about the bamboo, says unredacted truth. Yep. And it's the Black Friday sale, so it's a good time to get one. Dale says, I know, Dale, you always had smaller wheels, but now you have a freaking Oryx. I never liked big wheels, but once you get used to them, they are great cruisers. Well, the V13 is a great cruiser for me, but it does take me time to get used to it because I don't ride it that often. Every time I ride it, probably takes me 15 minutes until I feel somewhat comfortable on it again. Marty, I'll have to release my video going down a bunch of stairs. My accident, in quotes, was from going down twice high steps. Yeah. Okay, Marty. I knew that would get under your skin, Marty. I knew it. I was correct. So Marty says, still no plans for the P6 because too much money is currently leaving the house for other reasons. Marty, okay. Not that you need it, but I'm going to be your financial advisor, okay? I understand the P6 is a lot of money, $5,000, right? Go out to your workshop and look in your workshop. If you look in your workshop, you're going to probably see somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 wheels, right? Okay, this is my tip. Sell some of them to pay for your P6. Problem solved. Scamster's out of here. I'm off for a ride. Good, man. Enjoy. Unredacted truth. I disagree with Marty so much and said that to him. You disagree with Marty so much? About what? Marty says the U.S. market is over 60% of the entire world market. Plus, they are illegal in most 60% of the entire world market with EUCs, Marty? I assume a dealer told you that. Plus, they are illegal in most other countries. Makes total sense to focus on the U.S. Okay. Yeah, I know over in Europe they're technically illegal, and in Australia, Dale, aren't they technically illegal? I thought that was the case for a long time, actually. Marty says Duff is not spelled Duff. Technically they can spell that way, Marty, because my last name does technically have two F's in it, so it doesn't upset me if someone uses two F's. Did you guys know that for years and years, I've known Marty for, I don't know, 10 years, Marty? 9 years, 10 years. Marty's last name is Bake. And I thought, and I don't know when I finally found out, but I always thought that his name was Marty Back. Marty Back. I thought the E was silent. And I found out a couple of years ago that it was Backy, Marty Backy. And Yeah, that really kind of shook my world. I got over it, but I mean, it was kind of weird. Unredacted truth, but I am more of an off-road rider. That's really why. And when I get out to SoCal, then I would love the big battery wheels more. Okay. Well, you can do one of those like 125-mile rides that Marty likes so much. Dale says, I've never been past 50. I did 50 on the Patton going downhill and did 50 on the Patton. Ooh, that sounds a little hairy. Downhill, and I did 50 on my Oryx 20 minutes into his maiden voyage. I'm not a fast rider, though, so it's not often. Yeah. Yeah, I've never known you to be a fast rider, Dale. Not like that's a big deal. Unredacted truth. If I was living Marty's life, I would like bigger battery wheels more. I mainly do off-road here in Jersey. Well, that is what Marty likes. You know, he likes big batteries. Stan says, since Bigode's having financial difficulties, does that give P6 a longer shelf life than usual in our community? I think the P6, regardless of if Bigode is having issues or not, is going to have a long shelf life, just because it's not just the numbers. I mean, it's not just that, what's his face? What's that kid that did 86 miles an hour on it? I'm drawing a blank what his name is right now. Max Berger, right? He did 86 on it. But I mean, Bigode could, what's their new wheel, the 252 volt one, Max plus extra, whatever it's called. Maybe that can hit those kind of numbers too, or get in the ballpark. But it's not just the numbers with the Inmotion wheel. I mean, the wheel just feels like a fine piece of equipment. It feels like a high end piece of electronics almost. It feels like a new automobile, like a high quality automobile. It does. It has great features. Inmotion in general, a lot of their wheels that they've released recently, they have a feature set that no other wheels have, as far as convenience stuff. It's just and the new suspension on the P6, so good. I wish that suspension was on the V13. So good. I brought over the if you got the early bird deal, they included a 14 amp charger, which is nice, but I don't care about a 14 amp charger. So Albert was going to let me have the fast charger. I'm like, I don't need it. So this is the default charger. This is big. This reminds me of what comes with the V12S. It's almost this big. And this is a 5 amp charger. I think this might be very similar to what comes with the V12S. It's heavy. It's a 5 amp charger. It's fine. The wheel was down to 0 or 1% after my range test, and I used this to charge it up today. I don't know. It took a few hours. It was fine. Works good. And I guess that the Inmotion had a little bit of a controversy because I guess people that did the ordering early, they were giving the 14 amp charger, but then they weren't going to give them the 5 amp charger, I guess. And some people got their panties in a bundle about that, and so now they're getting 2 chargers. Those people that did the early deal, they're getting the 5 amp and the 14 amp chargers. So anyway, Stan, that was a long-winded way to say, I don't know. I think the P6 is going to have a long shelf life. I wish I knew, because when this thing was announced, despite all of the accolades and the numbers, I thought that $5,000 price point would just be that it would be a real sticking point. And it seems like a lot of people are so excited about this wheel that they don't care. I think Cameron, was it Cameron Massey? He said that he sold some of his Apple stock to pay for it. I think people are willing to make sacrifices to get the P6 because it's that good. It really is that good. Marty says the V13 was very lumbering to me. Yeah, I mean, comparing riding the V13 to the P6, it's like night and day. It really is. But that being said, up and rolling is comfortable for cruising. Unfortunately, the battery only gets about 50 miles of range. So it's limited range wise, but I like my V13. I do. And it's the only wheel I have that I can ride comfortably on. I was making plans to, you may or may not have seen on social media, I bought this oversized yoga block. It's big, man. Like 5 inches tall or something. And I stuck Velcro on the side and put it on the wheel. And I went out for a little test to see how I could do seated. And it's high enough that I could sit. But when I got down in seated position, it didn't feel comfortable. And I think the reason that the V13 works out for me better is not only the height, but also the length, because it's a 22-inch wheel. The top of it is long. It's long. I have a lot of real estate there that I can get my butt back and still have my feet and my legs at a decent angle, decent position. And I couldn't find that in the P6. Now I might, if I tried longer, maybe I would have gotten more comfortable with it, but I just said, screw it, and just stood the whole way for the 77 miles. Stan says Marty finally peaked. Nah, I'm telling you, he's going to have a P6 sooner or later, guaranteed. Especially if he follows my advice that I gave him. Marty says, I wish I had my voice changer going, Marty. I'm not taking financial Marty, that's a typo. It's not advise. You don't make typos normally. I'm not taking financial advice from someone who buys a new car every other year. Well, I wouldn't even say it's advice, Marty. I would just say it's common sense, right? I mean, who needs 20 wheels, right? I mean, couldn't you sacrifice 3 wheels that you're not riding much, or even 4, and basically fund a P6? I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm the one that's crazy, Marty. But if I had 20 wheels, yeah, I think I would sell a bunch to get a P6. Especially with the way that you've heaped praise upon it. I mean, it's the GOAT, right? It's the GOAT. Come on. And that's true, Marty. Like my Tesla that I have now, it's a 2024. So next year is 2026. So I guess I'm due to buy a Tesla next year, another one. I probably won't, though, to be honest with you. Because now where I live much closer. So I put much less miles on cars so I can hold on to them longer. But I mean, Marty still has his Cadillac Avalanche, or not Cadillac, Chevy Avalanche, or is it GMC Avalanche, which is, what is it, like a 2005 or something like that, Marty? I still can't believe that you didn't pull the trigger on one of the Chevy EV trucks. It has a pass-through tailgate, just like your Avalanche. I mean, it seems like a natural fit for me for you to get one of the Chevy EV trucks, but no. Well, especially now because you're doing the renovation. But I mean, I think you missed the boat on that. Oh, Jose just asking the same question. So Dale says the wheels are legal in most states in Australia now. Really? Okay, I didn't realize anything changed. All right. One alcohol down. Unredacted truth. Marty on the GOAT phrase. I just kid around, but I prefer like wheel of the year every year. Usually we get a better wheel. Yeah. Marty likes to make proclamations. Remember last year, 2024, he published, I think he did a video where he mentioned he was already picking wheels of the year in like March of 2024, March or April of 2024. He was already making his list of wheels of the year, top 5 wheels of the year in 2024. And I bet him a beer that list would change. And guess what? It did, because the Sherman L came out and his list did change. But Marty likes he he likes to say things that are impactful, whether they're necessarily bear out in truth or not. He likes to make impactful statements because he's oh shit. What is that? Oh man, I was listening to one of the old live streams, and Marty was on it with me, and we were talking about a T-shirt that he has, or at least had. What the heck was on it? I can't remember the word that's on this shirt, but I remember I thought it was funny then. I think it's funny now if I can remember the word of it, or the word that's on the shirt. But anyways, it ties into Marty making statements. Blue collar Jose, get a Cybertruck. Yeah, Marty. Well, Marty was thinking about Cybertrucks, but I think the Chevy EV trucks would be much better for him. Marty says 6% number came from one of the manufacturers face to face during lunch. Oh, in China? I bet it was from Kibai, right? Probably Kibai. Marty was laughing when you were wiped out after 70 miles. Yes, Marty, I'm sure it was hilarious to you. Well, it's like anything, Marty. When you don't do it on a regular basis, it's not fun. So if the longest ride, like say something happened to you and the longest ride that you did in the last year was 20 miles, and then you did 77 miles and you're on the wheel for 5 hours. I mean, do you think you would have negative side effects of that? Probably would. Saturn 9. Did you ride to tilt back on your range test? No, I rode to 1%. I rode down to 174 volts. Yeah, Marty's an elitist, Jose, if you haven't noticed yet. Unredacted truth. I agree, Duff. Look at lubricant wheels. It's how you release your wheels. Yeah. Yep. Dale, in regards to Marty's comment about 60% of the sales or EUCs being in the United States. If it was Begode, it doesn't count, Marty. We know USA was very Begode oriented, and other countries have far more Libra Kims. I don't have any information either way on that, Dale. Marty said after 70 miles. Let's see. Unredacted truth. As long as Inmotion doesn't cannibalize their own wheel releases, they won't. No, they've never done that. No, yeah, they won't. Yeah, I think the P6 will have a great lifespan. I am very confident in that. Stan says, has anyone seen the P6 seat? I have not. I'm sure they will release one. Unredacted truth. Didn't like Inmotion wheels before the V14. Well, Marty didn't like Inmotion wheels either. He used to think that they were toys. He used to say that like only men. If you were a man, you had a Gotway or a Begode. If you showed up with an Inmotion wheel, you were kind of a joke. But he doesn't think that way anymore. But he used to think that way. Dale says the only Inmotions I've liked are the V12 and V14. I mean, I liked a lot of my Inmotion wheels. I like the V11. I like the V12. I like the V12S. I mean, I've had a lot of Inmotion wheels. I currently have a V8S. They're all good wheels. Make a video with the P6 next to the V13. Yeah, I can do like a little side-by-side comparison. Sure. Unredacted truth. Marty rides so much faster now, Duff. You know Marty's a baller. No, he does ride faster than he used to. Yeah. Well, so do I, though. Although that's gone down. I was going up with my riding speed, and then I had that accident back in October of 2024 when I wiped out, and I definitely. And I remember, wanting to make a conscious effort to not have it affect me, but definitely it's affected me. Crashing out, I was going like 35, 36 when I crashed, and I've had a lot of hesitancy riding faster. since then. With the P6, I feel confident with it. I don't feel the same apprehension that I felt up until this point with the P6, just because it's rock solid, doesn't wobble, has power for days, and yeah, it definitely has helped me with that. Unredacted truth. Marty loves taking those pics with all of his wheels around him like a mob boss. Yes, he does. Don't let him tell you any differently. Marty says, I have 5 M10s and a couple other. Okay. Sell your 5 M10s or sell 4 of them and a couple other smaller wheels. So I don't really have 20 real wheels, if you know what I mean. Well, okay, but I mean, if they're wheels that you're not really getting good use out of, why not use that to fund a P6? It seems very sensible to me, Marty. Very sensible. And you're normally very sensible, very logical. So yeah, sell some of that shit. Unredacted truth. I remember that with the links, and then the L changed everything. Yeah. Well, links. Yeah, links. God knows how many Lynxes they sold. Unredacted truth thinks that Marty's has 25 now. I think he has more than 20, but I don't think he'll admit it. Like, he doesn't count the M10s, the smaller wheels, but they're all wheels, Marty. I currently have 7, not counting the P6. 7? Yeah. Brazil passed some decent nationwide laws last year, basically making EUCs legal. But, and there's always a but, the government is talking about people getting licenses and paying annual registration fees. I mean, if that happened in the States, it'd be a bummer, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. You know, if it meant that you could ride without hassle, that's a trade-off that I'd be willing to make. I don't know if everybody would. Probably not, but I'd be okay with it. Stan says, in your opinion, does Lieber Kim Nosfet have the engineering chops to build a P6 competitor? Asking for a friend. Yeah. I mean, if you're just talking about performance-wise, yeah, they could do that. But I'm just talking about the entire package. You know, like Nosfet wheels and Lieber Kim wheels. They're great, man. You know, they generally have good suspension, but they don't have some of the other features that Inmotion wheels do, like USB A and C ports, like Ride Connect, like lighting. Although the P6 doesn't really have. P6 doesn't have ambient RGB. It does have the light on the front, the Inmotion logo. Speakers. Does the P6 have speakers? I haven't actually tested that yet. But a lot of the other, like the V12S does, V9 does. And it's weird. Like I remember when the Z10 came out, you know, which was made by Ninebot and had a lot of issues. But I remember describing the Z10 as feeling dense. It just felt like it almost felt like a solid block of wheel. And the P6, it just feels tight. It feels tight. It feels dense, in a good way. And I don't I don't know. I don't know that Lieber Kim or Nosfet are interested in competing at that level. It seems like Inmotion, you know, Inmotion now has had UL certification on the V12S and the V9. My understanding is they couldn't do that with the P6 because the voltage is too high. But I mean, it's almost like they're almost becoming like the Samsung or Apple of the EUC world, kind of, in my opinion. But I don't know that Lieber Kim and Nosfet have the focus to do that. Although if the sales numbers for the P6 are as crazy as it sounds like they might be, maybe they will dig more into that. Jose, who are you asking? Do they still do EUC tours, long group rides? Who? Spike BC. It's okay. We don't necessarily always stay on topic around here. Totally off topic, but I wanted to thank you for your video on how to change the display on the Kingsong to miles per hour. It has been bugging me for weeks. Yeah. Yes, it is kind of dumb that you have to go through the steps that it takes to do that, but it is nice to be able to do so. Marty says, but you are an EUC influencer. Marty, I don't pride myself on titles like some people do. You know, I'm just me. I'm a guy that if someone wants my opinion on something and they want me to evaluate something, I'll do it, and I'll do a thorough job of it. But I don't walk around with an EUC influencer shirt on. You know, I don't wear a cape. So yeah, I don't have a standard. I do what makes me happy. Now that means I'm riding 20 miles a week, fine. If it means I'm not, that's fine too, really. Marty says USA has a huge number of lubricants and MOSFETs, Inmotions, and every other consumer good in the planet. Again, I'm not privy to that information, but I take your word for it, Marty. Yeah, the only Marty says I had the V9, V12S, and V14. Hey, Marty, whatever happened? Because I thought you said that like the V12S was like you weren't allowed to keep it. I guess you were allowed to keep it eventually, or they gave you another one or something. But anyways, it's V9, V12S, and V14. Surprising number of Inmotions. Only one Kingsong now. Yeah, I have no Kingsongs. I have no Begode wheels. No Begode wheels. I have 5 Inmotions. My veteran patent, and what am I forgetting? Am I forgetting something? Do I only have one non-Inmotion wheel? I'm mentally going through my list. Oh, then I'm sorry. The Arrow. I have the MOSFET Arrow as well. Yeah. Yep. And Marty, I'm not saying that you think negatively of Inmotion now. I'm just accurately recalling what you used to say about Inmotion before, whereas I never was down on Inmotion like you were. Jose says, Marty, can you do a tutorial on a DYUC seat, a Marty back quality seat? Oh, what do you mean? Like what he made for the Sherman L and the Sherman? Yeah, Marty can make seats. Thank God Marty doesn't do that bicycle seat mod anymore, because I hated that thing. Even though it was comfortable and very functional, I hated the way that thing looked. Stan says Kingsong is cooked. I kind of agree, Stan. I think they are in trouble. I think people don't give a shit about Kingsong, and they don't really trust them either. Even though the F18 seems to be a decent wheel, F22 Pro had a few glaring things that I didn't like, but a decent wheel. But decent doesn't cut it, especially when you have something like the P6 out there. All right, I'm gonna go get another Alcolo. Well, I only have one more, so I'll be right back. Has anyone else seen if you're friends with Marty on Facebook, you've probably seen the renovation or the addition that he's putting on his house. I mean, it's awesome. That's the reason he says that he can't get a P6, but it's, because I've been to Marty's house, and it just seems like it's a major renovation. It's going to be great. I'm jealous. Marty says, I'm making a video of me making a seat for the Panther. Not really a how-to, since I'm using tools that most people would not have. Maybe inspiration. Did you actually get a Panther for yourself, Marty? You don't have a Panther, do you? Because you have the Oryx. If you got a Panther, if you have a Panther, that'd be a great wheel to sell to pay for a P6. I don't think you have a Panther, though. Maybe you're making it for somebody else. I know you're not making it for Ron Lyon because he got rid of his Panther because he thought it sucked. Dale, he asked Marty if he tried the F18. Looks like a great wheel. Feels good to ride and seems solid built. I didn't go much on the F22 though. Well, I rode at the P6 demo. Rob had an F18 there, and I did ride it up and down the street a few times. It felt fine. Nice, yeah, it was fine. Yeah, it looked similar to the F22, but it didn't excite me. Saturn 9 P6 Inmotion or support wheel. Confidence inspiring. It is, at least for me. Okay, so Marty says the reason he can't sell wheels to pay for a P6 is because he need. And I know you're being funny, Marty. I need to periodically take a picture of me with 20 wheels. I know that's said jokingly, but I think there's a grain of truth to that. I think you take pride in having a small army of wheels for some reason. Unredacted Truth says, I think the F18 is nice from the reviews. I haven't rode one. I really like Kingsong firmware. No, I think it is nice. I just think people don't care. And my opinion about the F18 has been that it's basically was designed to be a Lynx competitor. And the Lynx, even though it's a great wheel, is coming up on a couple of years old. And people don't really care. They've moved on to the latest and greatest. If they wanted a Lynx by now, they already bought a Lynx. And F18 or Kingston thought the F18 would be a good wheel to release now, and they're just behind the curve, in my opinion. Stan says Kingsong was an amazing EUC manufacturer. By any chance, would you know if they had a change in management? I don't know that. I know Inmotion did a couple years ago. When Bob Yan left. Isn't Zen Lee hot for Kingsong's president or CEO or whatever? That's a woman. Didn't he say that he liked her? I don't know what happened to Zen either. He was releasing a video like daily, and I think he's, I don't know. I haven't seen anything from him in a long time. But anyways, I don't know if she's new or what's going on. I was a big Kingsong fan. I had the 16X, I had the 18XL. I loved both of those wheels. I had the S22, which I liked when it wasn't having problems. But I mean, the S22 frustrated me just because it was ridiculous how late it was coming to market. Like over a year from when it was supposed to originally be released is when they actually released it. So. And then Kingsong had wheels, more wheel releases that no one cared about. The S16, S19, no one cared about those wheels. And they probably didn't sell very many of them. Marty says, I now think of Kingsong as I used to think of Inmotion. Oh, yeah? The tables have turned. Well, if you haven't ridden the F22 or the F18, Marty, I mean, they are serious wheels. They have serious specs. They have serious performance. But I don't know. Maybe their reputation is just too damaged, or other manufacturers are just they're just staying ahead of them. Marty says, I don't know what it's going to take for Kingsong to get back in the game yet. I don't either, really. They probably need to release a wheel that isn't competing with wheels that came out, 18 months ago or longer. They need to release something that takes aim at the current level of things instead of the way things used to be. That would be my advice to them. Free advice. Stan says, if I was Kingsong, I would pay Albert his asking price. I think Inmotion is very, very happy with Albert. That's my opinion. It was nice to meet Albert in person at the demo day, and I got to meet Christine, and very, very cool. He He appeared very much like I would expect him to appear from videos, and that's what people usually say about me too. I'll pat myself in the back right there. That I'm kind of the same way as you see me here. I mean, Marty can vouch, or maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he would say I'm fake. I don't know. Marty says P6 has no audio, thus now music tones when it starts up like every other Inmotion wheel. Oh, okay. True. I mean, not that I care. Not that I care. Although for $5,000, you think they could throw it in, I guess, if someone did care about it. So Unredacted Truth used to be a King Song fan. Yeah, I think that a lot of people used to be King Song fans. Dale, yes, Dale was the biggest King Song fanboy. Yes, you were for years. Up until the 18XL and 16X, that's right. Yeah, because you had a 16X for a long time that you put like 100,000 kilometers on or whatever. They were great wheels, few duds, but I think the F18 puts them back in the game. Does it, Dale? Really? Again, it's a wheel that's competing with older wheels. Does it put it back in the game? Maybe. I mean, it's clearly targeted at the off-road market more than anything. So it would be competing with a Lynx. It would be competing with a V14. It would be competing with the X-Way, right? The good X-Way, I guess. I don't know. By chance, did you capture average moving GPS speed for the range? No, my old Garmin GPS doesn't. Well, actually, does it? Hold on. I happen to have it sitting right here. I don't think it actually has a moving speed average, but let me see. This GPS is really old, Marty. I can't afford all the new equipment like you have. All right, let's see. Okay. History. Enter. By week, not by day. November 24th. 77.19 miles. Yeah, see, it doesn't. This GPS doesn't discern between moving and stopped. So this says my average was 15.8 miles an hour. So it doesn't account for that, unfortunately. But I mean, if you saw the video, Marty, I mean, it was a mix. I mean, the majority of the mileage was the open road stuff I was doing, but there also was sidewalk riding, there was park riding, there was riding to the beach. So, but I think it worked out well. So, Marty, what did you think about the beep behavior? Because I remember with your range test, like the beeping was driving you crazy. With me, once it dropped to 9%, it beeped, I don't know, 5 times, and then didn't beep anymore. And then I figured, okay, well, I guess maybe once I got to 5%, it was gonna go crazy. It didn't beep at all. It didn't beep. I got all the way down to 1%. It did not beep a single time after those initial beeps at 9%, which is great. I liked it. Sounded a lot better than what happened to you. And talking to Albert, that was a change, but I didn't realize it was that drastic of a change. Dale says I only have 2 wheels now, the Lynx and Oryx. Too hard to travel with too many wheels. Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm so surprised by this, Marty. I mean, this isn't anything a diva would do at all, right? I complained saying everyone else was keeping their V12S, yet I had to return mine. I'm Marty. What the hell? I know, Marty, because again, you need to keep that wheel total high. So, I mean, that was a free wheel. Add to the total. Although you could sell it, and you could sell it to help pay for a P6. Unredacted Truth says the F-18 has redeemed them somewhat from the F-22 debacle. I don't know. Has it? Again, I'm not saying the F-18 is bad, but I'm just saying that nobody cares. That's what I'm saying. Even though I know there are a handful of people, and I stress handful, there's not a lot, that have F-18s, and they said it's been a great off-road wheel, performs really well. But even besides that, no one still cares. I don't know. Dale's going to get a beer. Isn't it like mid-morning, Dale, there in Australia? Marty bought a Panther? What? What the heck? You bought a Panther, Marty? Why? Why? If you have an Oryx, why did you buy a Panther? And why do you still have it? You don't need it. You have the Oryx. You could sell the Panther for what? $2,500 maybe? That's half of a P6. Sell that thing. Yeah, you bought a Panther, but it's a great wheel, but you don't need it, right? You still have your Master Pro, right? You have your Oryx, which by all accounts is better than a Panther. Why do you need a Panther? I don't know, man. I mean, I'll take financial advice from you, but wheel advice, no, I don't. Your wheel ownership advice, I think, is flawed. That makes no sense to have a Panther if you have an Oryx, in my opinion. Marty had unredacted truth. Marty has the money. He is waiting to get one for free from Inmotion. To be honest, I would have. That's not. To be honest, I thought he would have one for free. That's probably not too far from the truth. That's probably not too far from the truth. If I would buy one, I would probably do it through PEV connection down here. They would take care of me. I'm not sure exactly what that would mean, but I think they would try to take care of me. Thank you, Unredacted Truth. You're 100% correct on the F-18. Thank you. It's good to be 100% correct at least 10% of the time. Dale says people are still buying Lynxes. Yeah, they are. Yeah, sure. Yep. Marty says, to be honest, I am holding out to maybe get a deal on the P6. I absolutely would love to have one. Just trying to be prudent with my money at the moment. You're probably meant. 2 weeks ago, spent $8,000 for a new sewer line. Yeah, well, renovations are expensive. No, I understand, Marty. I just don't understand why what I'm suggesting to you seems like I'm speaking a foreign language. You have a couple dozen wheels, sell some. Problem solved, man. $2,000 for an Avalanche repair? That could be a down payment on a Chevy EV. What the heck? Chevy truck EV. What went down on your Avalanche? For $2,000. Let's see. Air conditioning? What broke? Unredacted Truth asking Marty, do you like the Oryx more than the Panther? I was about to buy an Oryx, but then the P6 stole the show. As far as I know, he likes the Oryx more than the Panther, but let's see what Marty says. Marty says for distance, the Oryx still rules. Love that wheel. The Panther is closer to the P6 minus the quality, but if you have one that works, it's fantastic. Well, I don't understand it. It sounds very redundant. The Oryx and the Panther are very redundant wheels, except the Oryx is just a lot better. A lot better build quality, better suspension, better, I guess. I don't know. I mean, you heard what Ron Lyon said. What he had his Panther for how long? A couple weeks and sold it. Dale says that I think when people meet me, they either like me more or less than they previously did prior to meeting me. Oh, yeah? Well, I can't say I'm surprised by that. Oh, look, ABC LYW looks like they're on the phone. So see, this vertical aspect is pulling in new viewers. He said hi, or she said hi. KS14C was Marty's second wheel. Yeah, I remember you had the 14s. Yeah. I see virtually no Kingsong energy in the social space. Yeah, that's true. I mean, their effort in social media is basically just showing writing videos on Facebook. Whereas God, can you imagine what Inmotion's advertising budget is? They spend a freaking fortune on social media advertising. A fortune. I wish I knew how big it was, but I mean, I can't go 15 minutes without seeing an Inmotion ad somewhere. They have a huge advertising budget for sure. Marty says all my ride states are collected using phone apps. All phones have a GPS receiver built in. Oh, you're kidding, Marty! I didn't know that. No, it's fine, Marty. It's I do realize that all phones have GPS built into them, Marty. It just it didn't matter to me. Didn't matter. Chowley 5746. I haven't seen any off-road video of the P6 yet. Is it any good off-road? Well, I did post a video on my channel. I did take the P6 to the swamp, which is my version of off-roading down here. It did well. It did well. I have the Michelin Pilot Street 2 on that wheel, and even though that's a road tire, it did fine in the swamp, and the suspension was great. It performed well. Now it's a heavier wheel, so like if you're doing a lot of stopping and starting, that's not exactly fun for me, but it definitely is not designed to be an off-road wheel. But I mean, in a pinch, you could do it. I think. I don't know that. I don't think like anyone ever took the wheel to the Fullerton Loop or anything like that, right, Marty? I assume. Yeah. Dale said Ronan got upset. I got a cheap demo Oryx and he didn't. Yeah, probably. Did you see the anime style cartoons that Ronan posted? He did it with Sora. I guess he did two of them. And the second one, if you look at the second one, there's some guy riding EUCs holding coffee. That's me. That was Ronan included me in his EUC anime series, which I thought was very funny. So yeah, if you didn't realize that, the guy with the coffee is me. Speaking of Albert, there he is. 2 cells, 1 pack. No, the speed beeps weren't restricted at all, Albert. Restrictive at all. It seemed like it was the exact opposite of what Marty experienced. It was surprisingly annoying free. Which I prefer. Marty says, Duff, the ending of your video had no info on beep or speed behavior. Your audio stopped and you skipped, including any video. Well, what do you mean? I explained it at the end, Marty, unless you didn't watch to the end. I said that I said when I sat down inside the house that I got the beeps at 9% and I didn't get anything past that, all the way down to 1%. I did explain that, Marty. Maybe you tuned out. Jose says, I'm thinking of getting a V12S in the spring. My V9 has over 2,000. Wow, nice. My V9 has over 2,000 miles on it. V9's a great wheel. And with the specials that they're doing, the Black Friday specials Inmotion's doing, $9.99 for a V9 is one of the best deals out there, in my opinion. I mean, it really is a good deal on that wheel that has so many features, and it's a light, fast enough for commuting, portable. I think that's a great deal. And V12S, $19.99 for a V12S. which is a really good wheel as well. So anyways, Jose says you're thinking about getting a V12S. I've outgrown it, definitely. Oh, you've outgrown the V9. Yeah, okay. P6 is too expensive for me. Well, the V12S is a nice stepping stone. Less than half the price of a P6, and it actually has more features than the P6. It just doesn't have that kind of. Doesn't have the plush, but I mean, it has good suspension. The V12S has good suspension, but the P6 is better. And it doesn't have the crazy power and range numbers that a P6 has. But if you don't need it, if you don't need that kind of power and that kind of range, who cares, right? Dale got his alcohol at 12 p.m. I'm going through these comments fast, and I'm still 10 minutes behind, evidently. Marty bought the Panther before the P6 arrived. I rode the Panther in China, and I loved it. Yeah, and I remember you said that you loved it. But now that you know that you have an Oryx, now that you know that the P6 is a great wheel, why would you not sell the Panther? Why? Explain this to me. I don't know. I think you might have some sort of mental illness going on there, Marty. All right, Dale's out. Got to go. Wheels calling my name. Have fun. All right, Dale. Oh, Matt Burt bought an F8. I didn't know Matt Burt had an F18. He had to stop riding his F8. Well, it's an off-road wheel, so he had to stop riding the F18 off-road because the bolts kept loosening. It's on his channel. Oh, really? Which bolts? Like the motor bolts, the suspension bolts? Well, what bolts? I'm not a subscriber to Matt's channel. Albert says, don't be prudent. Now, Albert, I know you can't answer this question. It'd be great if you could, and you probably have access to the information. Do you have any ballpark idea of how many P6s Inmotion has sold so far? If you would tell us, that would be amazing, but you probably can't. But I am very curious because that was the biggest. We talked about this earlier in the stream, Albert. That as good as the specs on the P6 seemed, that price tag, I just thought that was a huge barrier to sales. But I keep seeing, this guy, that guy, and the other guy that they bought a P6. So I really am curious how many P6s Inmotion has sold. If you can let us know without getting in trouble, feel free. Marty, that 8K repair was for repair when the toilets didn't flush. Well, that's important. So you had a blockage in your line, so they had to run new line to the sewer. Yeah, that could be expensive. Or did you have like a root that went through and broke your pipe? That could happen too. Marty talking about the $2,000 repair on his Avalanche, some kind of fuel emission sensor in the tank. And they have emission testing in California. That's right. Marty, in Florida, not only do they not have emission testing, but they don't have state inspections at all. So another reason to move to Florida. So $2,000, which included $700 to repair a power door lock switch. Wow. You couldn't do that yourself? Come on, Marty. You're technical enough that you could do the door switch probably. Saturnine, listen to Albert, Marty. Listen to Albert. Yeah. So if we count the live stream, so far I've done 7 videos P6 related. And if things in my head work out, I will be doing 2 more videos P6 related, which will give me a total of 9 different videos P6 related. It's a lot. It's probably a record, right? Okay. Marty says you have to know Ron to understand why he sold his Panther. He did get a lemon suspension on his. Mine is great. Okay. Well, I thought he was complaining about a number of QC related issues with the Panther, but maybe not. But but I still don't understand why you need it. I don't understand why you need it when you have an Oryx. Marty said, I actually meant I see no Kingsong user energy in social space. I think maybe 5 people bought one. Yeah. It's their sales seem terrible. Captain Send It is here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Captain Send It. Welcome. Marty says, then why are you using a separate GPS device to record your rides? Lame. Because I want to. I like that I can just flip at my wrist and I can look at my stats easily. That's why, Marty. I'm sorry if it doesn't meet your approval, but that's why. Marty says, I have a section of off-road riding in one of my P6 videos. It's actually very nice off-road, not rock garden off-road, but otherwise it's decent. Yeah, I had no complaints. It ate up the bumps as good, if not better, than anything I've ever taken into the swamp. Marty says, it's like, let's do a range test video, and instead you sit on the couch and talk about the range test. What? Marty, did you even watch the video? I like every 10 miles, I was putting my stats as I went along. What the heck, Marty? Oh my God. You just go sit go sit amongst your 20 wheels or 25 wheels. Make you feel better. Unredacted Truth says, Marty will be getting a P6. Marty can sense that one could be coming his way. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so Albert said on the F-18, it was motor bolts that were coming loose. Well, that's annoying. So he couldn't fix that with like red Loctite? Wheelie Brady's here. What's up, buddy? Welcome, man. Welcome. Marty says, I'm approaching 500 miles on my V12S. I actually love the wheel for most of my around town riding. Well, I understand that. It's a great wheel, which I've been saying a lot. Suspension is only second best to the P6 now. Before the P6, I can consider it the best. Yeah. Well, I considered it similar to my Patton, my 58-pound Patton, as far as the way it felt. Very close. Albert does know exactly how many P6s have been sold, but he can't say. I understand, Albert. But damn, I'd like to know that number. Is it, okay, maybe you can answer this. Is it more or less than 1,000? Can you answer that? Okay. Okay, well, you just did answer it. I would say over 100 and less than 1,000. Okay. All right. Albert's in China? Really? Okay. Yeah, I was talking to him about his crazy schedule. I mean, he's all over the place. You know, he's in California, then he's in New York, he's in New York, then he's down in Florida, then he's back in California, and he's back in China now, I guess. Must be fun, man. It's great. It's amazing the way things have worked out for him. That's really good. Unredacted Truth. You guys nailed it, Albert, on everything with the P6, and Inmotion couldn't have done a better job with those 2 wins and all the social media. If sales aren't through the roof, it isn't because of you guys. Yeah, I mean, Inmotion is doing all the right things, in my opinion. Marty loves Florida. Yeah, you love Florida. Yeah, you love Florida, but you don't love it enough to come here and ride. Marty says the door switches are smart and have to be programmed to work with your remote. Oh, okay. Otherwise, I would have replaced the switch myself. $700 to do that. That's insane, dude. It's insane. Highway robbery. Marty says, except your device doesn't actually have any stats. Well, Marty, do keep in mind that you are an engineer, or you're a retired engineer. So I think that has a lot of importance to you, but it might not have the same amount of importance to other people. So Albert says, okay, he said that Matt fixed the loose motor bolts with the orange Loctite. Okay, I didn't know there was orange Loctite. I only knew about blue and red. Marty said the ending of the video where I would be most interested in seeing the behavior, but instead of watching on the couch looking like you rode 200 miles. Marty, my mic died, man. I was on the wheel for over 5 hours. What behavior is there to see? It didn't beep. That's the behavior. It beeped a few times at 9%. It didn't beep again, all the way down to 1%. And when I stopped, I was probably doing, I don't know, 15 miles an hour, even though at 1%, according to what Albert said, you can go up to 19 miles an hour. That's the behavior. I thought he described it quite well. But maybe you want to see. I don't know. What do you want to see, Marty? You want to see it not beeping? Maybe you don't believe me. That's it. You don't believe me that it didn't beep. Maybe. It's okay, Marty. It's a good thing that I don't put a priority on pleasing you, Marty. Thank God, or I'd be very unhappy. Tom Nell, Matt did fix it. I don't know why Marty says he's not riding it anymore. Well, I guess Marty didn't have the latest and greatest information. Just like Inmotion wasn't developing a performance wheel, right, Marty? 618. I wish I knew what that meant. Unredacted truth. Albert says performance wheels for Inmotion is a new venture. Think BMW or Mercedes AMG. If P6 is marked as a success, then the future performance products can be greenlit. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, again, without knowing numbers, like I don't know, like what is Albert? Like you can maybe answer this. Like, what is viewed as a successful wheel? Selling how many wheels? What's successful? And now, of course, the P6 is much more expensive, so I'm sure that number is lower. But generally speaking, what is a successful wheel? 500 wheels, 1,000 wheels? Well, what is a successful wheel? King X Pawn says Albert dropped by Vancouver with the P6. It was awesome testing it out. Yeah. Stan says, how many buys will be considered an Inmotion successful? That's kind of what I just said. Oh, wait, got to hop over here. I got a super chat, a $20 super chat from Mr. Real. Really? Oh, Mr. For Real. Thanks, buddy. I don't think I've ever seen you on a live stream before. Mr. For Real says, Duff, could you ask Marty if they plan on reinstituting a trade-in policy for low mileage Inmotion wheels? Well, Albert would be the one to ask about that. I have a low mileage V12 Pro. I'd love to trade it in for a P6. Well, I mean, you would get, assuming that they had it, you're going to get a credit for the V12, but it's not going to be a whole lot, to be honest with you, buddy. But let's see what Albert says about that. Okay, Albert said he doesn't know how many buys would be a success in Inmotion's world, but he would estimate it would be at least a couple thousand wheels. Really interesting. Okay. Unredacted Truth says 5,000, $5,000 each. $400 would probably be needed at $400 would be needed at launch, I would think. What do you mean 400 like the first batch? Yeah, can you tell us that, Albert? Like how many P6s were built in the first run? Because I'm sure that's a tricky thing, right? I like to estimate how many you actually need for the initial launch. Because if you go too high and the wheels will flop, then you're stuck with a bunch of inventory that you can't move. Again, going back to to Kingsong and the F-18. They were posting on their social media like pictures from their factory of all these F-18s lined up. Look at all these F-18s. I'm just curious, like, who's buying them? Who is actually buying all those F-18s? Saturn 9, is the V12S considered a success yet, Albert? Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. My guess would be probably TBD, to be determined. I think selling it for $19.99 would help. Hold on a second. Yeah, I think that $19.99 price point is killer if they can continue to do that. Larry says, "Hey everybody, I have to go teach my class. Have a great Thanksgiving. Rise safely." Yes, I did mention very briefly that tonight is technically Thanksgiving Eve. I don't know that I've ever live streamed on Thanksgiving Eve before, but it is Thanksgiving Eve. Jay Keom, what are the chances an update comes to the P6 to get wheel speed equals real speed? Well, I think it's getting closer, but it's still not. I think, what did you say was off, Albert? Did you say 8%, 6%? It's getting closer. But it's not there yet. Because I think when Joey did 74, I might have these details wrong, but when Joey did 74 during the Florida demo, that he was doing, was it 68 GPS or something, or I don't know. Marty says, the last I heard from Matt, even the orange Loctite wasn't working, but maybe he has it working now. Okay. King X Pawn, 800 wheels is considered very successful. Really? Okay. Regardless of the cost of that wheel? Like, I would think 800 V9s versus 800 P6s would be quite a difference. I didn't know Inmotion had a trade-in policy. Cool. Albert is here. Maybe he can answer. I thought they did, right? They didn't? Did they have it for a period of time? I don't know if they still do. I thought they did, though. Albert says, generally, as far as I've gathered, I would say around 2,000 to 3,000 a year. I'm not sure what questions he's answering there. SXM Gator, is there a shop in Florida where I could demo EUC to see if I would like it? Yes. PEVconnection.com, around the St. Petersburg, Florida area. Rob and Mike, the owners of that store, they're great. They're great guys, and they'll be happy to let you demo an EUC. Great store, PEVconnection.com. Okay, Albert, answering the question about a trade-in program. He says, as far as I know, not at this time, but reach out to customer service. They may make a case-by-case call. Okay, cool. Marty says, I can't believe it would take a couple thousand $5,000 wheels to be a success. Yeah, I don't know. That is interesting, though. That's an interesting concept to me. Like what, from a manufacturer standpoint, like what makes what makes a wheel successful or not. King X Pawn says 2,000 would be a very impressive number in EUC standards. I guess, like I've never gotten a real good sense of exactly how big the EUC market is. Really, I'm not privy to dealer sales numbers, so I really don't know. I mean, obviously it's been growing over the years, but I have no idea how big it is. Albert does not know how big the first batch was of P6s. He says he can't say an exact number, but the first 3 batches are sold. Batch 3 is estimated in January, as far as he knows. Okay. Wow. Okay. Oh, so you literally can't say how many you made. Okay. Well, because that would be kind of like giving away sales numbers, I guess, right? Stan, I wonder what Kingsong does with its own unsold inventory. I don't know. It must have a lot of it, though. I mean, they must have a shitload of S16s and S19 sitting around. I'm sure. Probably a bunch of F22 Pros as well. And I don't know. We'll see about F18s. Albert says the next hurdle is making sure the first batch doesn't have any critical issues. Yeah, right. Exactly. And if it does, making sure I can resolve issues as quickly as possible. Yeah, cross your fingers, right? Hopefully. Now, the one thing that's different with this pre-production wheel that I'm testing versus the production wheels is the tire. Albert put a Michelin Pilot Street 2 on this wheel. So the production wheels do not have a Michelin on them. When I asked Albert about the characteristics of the tire that the production wheels comes with, he said that it has more of a tendency to want to stay upright. And what was the other thing you said, Albert? Let me see. Yeah, stronger upright. So it probably has I don't know, maybe a little bit more of a gyroscopic effect, maybe. But I can tell you that the Pilot Street 2, the 8090 Pilot Street 2 that's on there feels great. It really does. I actually have a spare 8090 Pilot Street 2 sitting in my garage right now. So if I would get a wheel, a P6, I would probably put that on, just based on how much I like the way that the wheel feels with that tire on it. Albert says that the difference with GPS versus wheel speed is 5 to 8% depending on tire and pressure. Rider weight affects it as well? Really? Okay. That's interesting because I don't understand that, because my impression that would be that the wheel is measuring it just based on revolutions, not the weight. But yeah, I mean, obviously you know better than me. Marty says they would sell a lot of P6s if they were priced at 30. A lot. They would sell a ton. It's funny. Again, Marty, I mentioned how I was listening back on live. I've been listening to old live streams. And one of the recent ones I listened to was when the Sherman came out, and I got a Sherman. And back then, we were saying how I think they were $3,200. They originally they were less than that, and then they changed the price to $3,200 around COVID. And we were thinking like, oh man, it's too expensive to sell a lot. And obviously they were wrong. They sold so many Shermans. So it seems like there's a history that if a wheel is good enough, people will open their pocketbooks to buy it. They will sell out, like Cameron Massey, they will sell Apple stock to buy it. Yeah, but anyways, so Marty said maybe the gross profit will be more, even though the per unit profit will be lower. Yeah, higher volume, lower profit margin. Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure how they decide where the sweet spot is there. Where okay, well, if we drop the price $1,000, we're going to sell X amount more wheels. Like, where do you come out ahead? Stands agreed. 3,500. Yeah, that would be a sweet spot, but it's not. We're not at that spot. Unredacted truth. Yeah, they put some money in this venture with the race team and the promo. All this costs money. Yeah, Albert, we were talking, I think prior to you getting on, we were just talking about how like massive the investment in advertising and social media, and the race team is part of that. I mean, Inmotion has really spent the money to get the word out about their wheels. Marty says, if the production P6s don't match expectations, Inmotion could be the next King song. It's probably keeping Albert up at night. Well, I mean, I don't know, really. I mean, what about a production P6 would be significantly worse than the pre-production? I mean, I guess at volume there could be problems. You know, if there's, I don't know, an issue on the line or something, but I'm confident it'll be okay. And if it's not okay, they'll fix it. King X Pawn, I would agree. A lower price wheel would probably justify higher sales. I'd be curious how many sales of the NOSFET arrows. That's an interesting point, and that brings me up to something else. I don't. Can I say who told me this? I won't say because I don't think it matters. But Next Gen Mobility has sold hundreds of NOSFET arrows. eWheels has sold very few in comparison to Next Gen Mobility. And you know what the difference is between Next Gen Mobility and eWheels? The price. Next Gen was selling NOSFET arrows for, I don't know, was it $300 less than eWheels? Something like that. I don't remember. It's somewhere between $200 and $400 less than eWheels. And that difference was enough to drive significant traffic to Next Gen, because people are like, okay, well, if I can spend a few $100s less, I'm just going to buy it from Next Gen. So price matters. Now, it's interesting because of the strategy that Inmotion is taking, where they are price locking. They're guaranteeing that the price is going to be no less than $5,000 for a year, I guess. And that's why they're doing that. I don't know, to try to keep the floor even, so one dealer can undercut other ones. But price does matter. You know, if someone was selling a P6 for a couple $100 less than anybody else, guess what? The vast majority of sales are going to go to that person. So, yeah. It's just a matter of how low, and obviously with the P6, you're not going to see this because the price is locked for a year. But it is interesting. It's an interesting theory, or it's an interesting exercise to figure how many more wheel sales justify a lower price, where you actually come out ahead because you're moving so many more units. SXM Gator, you'll check them out. You live in Cape Coral. Oh yeah, you're pretty close. So yeah, definitely check them out. PEVconnection.com. Tell Rob I sent you. Stan says, I'm assuming the P6 isn't the profit wheel. Just below the wheel, just the below wheels. It reminds me of the M series and AMG, not for profit, just to showcase engineering prowess. Yes, maybe. Yeah. That's viable. Hold on. Unredacted truth. Let's unredacted truth. You have to be like the top fan. Like YouTube has this new thing where they give people XP for being a fan. Oh wow, no, Mr. For Real is the top fan because he did a $20 super chat. That gives you a lot of XP. Marty is second. He's the second top fan, and Stan is third. Unredacted Truth. Okay. You both have the same XP. Stan and Unredacted Truth both have 150 XP, so you're tied. And actually, Dale's tied as well. So it's interesting. But evidently, they give a lot of XP for super chats because Mr. For Real has 1,000 XP. The next closest is Marty, Stan, Unredacted Truth, and Dale. Interesting. All right, let me before I go back to the comments, let me just go and end. Oops, I've had a poll running the entire live stream, and the poll, I'm going to end the poll because it's been running for a while. Wait. All right. Okay. Poll. How do I manage the poll? Where's my poll at? Where's my poll? Do you guys see a poll? Yeah, there was votes in the poll. Where the hell is it? Poll. I'm trying to. No. I can't see my poll to close it. What the F? Do you guys see the poll still? I put a poll out there that asked what most appealed to you with the P6, but for some reason I'm not seeing it up there anymore. Interesting. Okay. Well, interesting. Maybe I'll figure it out. Maybe I won't. Albert says the market actually has been shrinking in the USA. Really? What do you mean? What, the sales in the UC in the space have been going down in the USA? Really? That's interesting, if that's what you're saying. Marty says, hopefully Inmotion is happy with the success of the P6. Yes, I hope so. Unredacted Truth wants you want a knobby tire on the P6? Really? I haven't seen one with it yet. Saturn9 says, Albert, you guys have to do more outside USA marketing then. Yeah, I have no idea what they do outside the States. Oh, so Albert's only in charge of North America. Really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that you were focused on just North America, Albert. I thought you had your hand in everything. Okay, interesting. Ra says, how does the turning on the P6? I can turn it on for you if you want. Just hold the button. You got to hold it for a little while. That's how you do it. Very easy. Has the same screen as the V12S, which I love, man. It's big. It's a full color. Has a lot of functions that are in the app. I love the screen on the V12S and the P6. Love them. Albert, in reference to how GPS versus wheel speed is affected, he says rider weight affects the tire squish. Okay. Oh, okay. Which would affect the revolutions. Ross saying 3,500 for what? Like that would be a good price? Yeah, sure, would be. Jose, Blue Collar Jose says the price guarantee makes it difficult for the P6 to drop too much, at least. Yeah, well, it makes it impossible. I understand why they're doing that. I understand they're doing it because they don't want to piss off people that bought the wheel. Like, hey, because it's a lot of money, right? I paid $5,000 and now you can get it for $4,500. That's going to piss me off. So I understand why they're doing it. But yeah, it would be nice to get one for less money if you could. Unredacted Truth says, Albert, keep your work ethic and you'll be in control of global. I truly see a change since you came on with what riders want in a wheel. Yeah, I think Albert's been doing a great job. Oh, so Marty's saying like if the P6 would catch, well, that was, yeah, I guess. But remember the S22, that was a demo wheel that happened to. You would think that would happen. If that's going to happen, that would happen with a demo wheel, not the production. But yeah, hopefully not. It's weird, Marty. Did you see the video that, this is a little off topic, but did you see the video that Ustride did? Ustride did a video that referenced your video with the range test in the P6. It was weird. Like he did a whole video referencing your video on the range test in the P6. And then on my video, he made a comment about my range test video on the P6, and he linked your range test video on the P6. And I jokingly just asked him, I said, did Marty like hire you to be like a public relations director for his channel or something? But I didn't know if he talked to you about anything or what, because like Ustride, I'm surprised he's posting videos because he kind of was like shamed out of the community after the whole pink slips race where he bet a wheel that he didn't own in a pink slip race with Wheezy. Albert says mass manufacturing assembly line issues, not so much product performance. Oh, you mean with the production wheels? Yeah, right. Yeah, sure. Raw is waiting for the Bigot 252 race VX Max or Libra Kim to do with the next wheel. Yeah, I mean, obviously the performance, other manufacturers are going to try to catch up, especially Bigot. You know, they don't like ever being leapfrogged in the performance characteristics of a wheel. So E-Wheels didn't import the first couple batches of what? Of the P6s or something else? Or the Arrows? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, okay. Okay, we're talking about the Arrows. So, okay. So in regards to why Next Gen sold so many more Arrows than E-Wheels, that Next Gen had more in stock due to tariffs. So NGM had stock when E-Wheels didn't have any. Okay. Okay, makes sense. That's a valid explanation. But they were still selling them for less as well, right? Unredacted Truth says the connecting with people across America is very smart. Well, I mean, they've had, I mean, sending wheels out on demo tours is something that's been around for a while, but Inmotion is doing it in a more formal way. The connecting with people across America is very smart. Sadly, I had no idea until after you were in NYC, or I would have came to it. Willie Brady says 252 volts does sound exciting, does it? I guess. Ross says, I'm a new rider, 3 months. Are you riding X-Way after 3 months? Wow. Okay. Well, then you've progressed pretty quickly. Good for you. Albert says the demo day tours was a first-time event, so the marketing reach wasn't done super large. Okay. Lessons learned from the experience will help us do a better job on future launches. Good. King X Pawn says it's shocking that my Sherman L is considered humble and reasonable now with these upcoming wheels. Sherman L is a great wheel, man. I mean, it's not like if you have a Sherman L, it's trash all of a sudden. It's a great wheel. Sherman L is a great wheel. P6 is just better. That's all. But I mean, if you're happy with your Sherman L, then I don't know that you have a compelling reason to go to a P6 unless you want to go a whole lot faster. Unredacted Truth is not normally on social media, so he didn't know about the P6 tour. Albert says price demand elasticity on electric unicycles isn't that strong. What do you mean? You mean that lower price doesn't necessarily translate into more sales? I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure what that means. Yes, unredacted truth. I don't know this, but I don't recall ever seeing you in a live stream before. So thanks for stopping in. David S. I used to watch your one wheel videos. You have I have a GTS as well. I am thinking of getting my first EUC, and if I do, oh my goodness, David. So your first EUC is going to be a P6. I know it's fast, and there's a learning curve. Your thoughts? For someone that knows how to ride EUCs, a P6 is easy to pick up. I stepped right on and didn't feel like I had to adjust to it at all. To learn on a P6, 112-pound wheel, that's not going to be. You can do it. I mean, people do it all the time. It's not ideal. It'd be better to learn on a lighter wheel. So I mean, obviously you're not going to outgrow it, and that's the reason people normally will do that. They don't want to buy an intermediate wheel and then outgrow it and then have to go to something better. So you won't outgrow it. It's not going to be the easiest wheel to learn on. It's just to learn the basics, but you can do it. I would make sure that you pad the wheel up so you don't damage it significantly during the learning process. But yeah, it's going to feel a lot different than a one-wheel GTS. I can tell you that. My goodness. Yeah, I haven't done a one-wheel video in a long time. What do you think about that new the new bike that One Wheel is releasing, the Antic? And then Float Life is doing the Wheelie Fun bike. It's very interesting. It uses basically, the Antic uses a one-wheel hub motor, and it has a wheelie mode. I mean, it looks interesting. It looks fun. It's $2,900. Top speed of, what was the top speed in that thing? 35 miles an hour, I think. Range, depending on the trim you get, range of 20 some miles up to 50 miles. I don't remember the specs that well, but yeah. Future Motion's still trying. Lord Demons, there was a poll. There was. I don't know where it went. Because I saw unless I accidentally closed it, maybe. Yeah, 'cause I don't see it anymore. I do not see it anymore. Maybe I accidentally closed the poll somehow. But there was a poll. Well, of course you would say this, Marnie. It disturbs me that I'm classified as number 2 here. I don't want to be seen as a fanboy. Now, all it means, Marty, is that you're participating on the live stream. Like comments give you XP, so that's all it means, Marty. You're not a fanboy. All right, no pulse. Okay, so the poll disappeared for some reason. It's okay. Yeah, I know it was there because I voted on it too. J.K. Ohm voted on the poll. Yeah, whatever. Marty never saw it. All right. The way everyone missed the poll, it's usually at the top of the comment section. You'll see an option for the poll, but I don't know what happened. Oh, 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 that's what happened. Okay. Because, and again, Albert, this is before you got here. There's a new feature in StreamYard that allows you to simulcast both widescreen 16:9 format and phone format, vertical format. The way the StreamYard does this is it actually creates two live streams on your YouTube channel. And when I created that poll, I think I was accidentally in the vertical format. So that poll is probably out on the vertical format side of things, not on the horizontal. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. And I think we have a lot more people that are in the horizontal than the vertical. So next time I'll put the poll in both spots, I guess. Lesson learned. Yeah, that's why you guys aren't seeing it. Blue Collar Jose, a Lynx version of the P6 would be perfect for me. A 3,000 watt hour battery with 55 mile an hour top speed with a range within 30% of the P6. Okay. So you mean like a beefed up V14? Ross says, I love the features, the touchscreen, the two USB ports, tire pressure. Yeah, that's the other thing I mentioned, the TPMS sensors. The demo unit I have does not have that, but yeah, the production wheels will have a TPMS sensor to monitor the pressure in your tubeless tire. That's great. Great feature. Maxim Denisov. Hi, thanks for your content. You're welcome. What do you think about Inmotion V13 Pro? We've got a sale where you can buy it for $1,400. I have a V13, not a Pro. V13, and I like the V13. It's a good cruising wheel. It's fast. Not that maneuverable. It's a 22-inch tire. Has a color screen. For $1,400, it's a pretty nice deal. That's a good deal on a V13. Is that a new one or a used one? Yeah, I mean that's for that money, that's a good value. King X Pawn, in regards to the shrinking market that Albert talked about, the U.S. market, the lower sales I think has a lot to do with tariffs. Well, it definitely doesn't help. That's for sure. Definitely. Marty responded to David, take it slow. Oh, the David that wanted to get a P6 right away. There's a lot you don't know about EUCs until you put a lot of miles in. True. Potential to get injured too easy with modern wheels. Yeah. I mean, maybe a better course of action would be to buy like have Marty sell you one of his 25 wheels, his lower performance wheels. Have him sell you one of them, and then that can be money that Marty can use to buy a P6. It sounds like a win-win to me. Spartacus. Oh, Spartacus is on the phone, I see. Double tap your phone screen to like the stream. And if you're new, subscribe. Thank you, Spartacus. Yeah, no, a lot of people are confused on how to like the stream when you're watching it on the phone. And it is a little weird because I hardly ever watch live streams on the phone. And I have to tell you that I believe this dual stream format is getting more eyeballs on it because I'm currently showing that I have 61 viewers simultaneously, which is more than normal. So I think there is some merit to this new system that StreamYard has. Stan asked Albert, why isn't China leading in EUC purchases? Thanks. I don't know. It's true. China does have like what? How many billions of people? 2 billion, 3 billion? Yeah, that is a good question. That is a good question. You can turn the P6 while it's on its kickstand. Yeah, I know that, Marty. Yes, you can. just like a V12. Blue Collar Jose says, David, get a V9 or V12S. P6 is like a 1 liter bike, too much for beginners. It is a lot, but I know people that have done it. I mean, I remember people used to buy a Sherman as their first wheel, and I remember saying that's a lot of wheel for your first wheel. And they took their lumps, but some people did. Some people learned on it. Some people gave up. Marty says sales of the P6 are going to tank 9 months from now. What? Why? What happens in 9 months, Marty? Maybe that's a joke I'm not getting. Ra saw the U-Stride video. Okay. I keep falling further behind, but I'm doing nothing but responding to comments. Unredacted truth. I mean, the wheel sold well, right? The S22, yeah, it did. It did sell well. They sold a bunch of them. Marty says, sorry, U-Stride is a bit nuts. I avoid him like the plague now. He really doesn't make sense. The guy is weird, in my opinion. Shh, don't tell him. He might see this, Marty. He won't be your biggest fan. Yeah, I don't subscribe to U-Stride. I never did. And when I heard that story about what happened in New York City, I thought it was really, really weird what went down, and didn't speak well of his character. Rye, did U-Street get a new wheel yet? Who knows? Who knows? I thought I heard that he actually wound up buying that EX30, the eWheels demo EX30, which was actually the eWheels EX30 demo that I had. That was the demo wheel that I had down here, which was the wheel that he raced in New York City. Just a nice little trivia fact. SXM Gator says, I understand a P6 is considered a performance wheel, but would it be, not just considered, it is, but would it be a good starter wheel? No, it's not an ideal starter wheel. No, it is not. A V9 is an ideal starter wheel. I'm currently a pretty good one-wheel rider, but EUCs have superior range. Yes, they do. They do. Here, I'm gonna make Marty excited. Watch. I'm gonna engage the lift switch. I'm gonna put it on its kickstand. Now you get to see it at a different angle with the headlight on. Although, really, why do I need to do this? Because I have it fully charged so I can do my speed runs. I'm gonna turn it off. That's what it sounds like when you turn it off. Drumbree, what are your thoughts on the P6 app from Inmotion? I hear there's a setting to adjust the return speed of the pedal hardness or softness when accelerating. Do I have that right? I haven't gone through all the different settings in the app. Albert can probably answer that really quickly if he's here. But I believe that there are settings for that. It's like acceleration assist, basically. Marty says, once you've experienced P6 quality, it does make you wonder about Begode. The only way for Begode to stay in the game is to keep selling their wheels cheap. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, putting a P6 next to any Begode wheel, I mean, it's literally like night and day. It really is. It's not even close. Stan asking for the P6 price drop prediction in 9 months. Marty. Lord Demonos says, I bought a P6 on my first wheel. If that helps at all, I don't see why it would be bad for a beginner. Just big, large, and heavy. That's why it's bad for a beginner, Lord Demonos. But that's fine. Hey, it's fine. If you wanna learn on a P6, go ahead, learn on a P6. Just put some pads on it. And do not go fast for a long time. Marty says, can you imagine spending $4,500 for something like the Panther instead of an additional $500 for the P6 and everything that comes with it? No. I mean, no, I'd be pissed off. You put a Panther next to a P6, I'd be pissed off. Marty loves his X-Way. Oh, yeah. Oh, you have an X-Way too, Marty? I have no idea how many wheels you have now. You have an X-Way. Okay, good. Why don't you sell that? Put that towards the P6 fund. Unredacted Truth says, I don't think so you don't think a P6 is a bad wheel to learn on, really? I don't know, dude. I mean, because I mean, when you're learning, I mean, you're literally learning how to like to brace your leg and like where the balance point is, and to have a wheel that heavy, I mean, it's not going to be easy, man. It's going to be tough. That weight, I think, is a big negative when you're trying to learn. Marty says the Sherman L is great, but now old tech. All great things have to have an end date. Sure, I agree with that. Lord Demino says the crash test videos really sold me on the safety aspect. What do you mean? When they in China, when they were like running it down steps and into walls and stuff? Ross says it's always going to be the next big wheel every year. The Sherman is still a great wheel and gets good range like the P6. Yeah, Sherman is a great wheel. Those stairs were brutal. Yes, they were. Only 7 people have liked this live stream? Really? Let me look. I'm looking at the widescreen format live stream because there's going to be likes on both sides. 17. I see 17, Marty, not 7. But that's still not a lot. More likes the better. Oh, Alan's here. Ditto Head. What's up, buddy? Just finished a 60-mile ride. Glad to see you streaming. Hoping to be in your area in a couple of months. Yeah. Alan mentioned that he's going to potentially be in Florida over the winter. So, yeah, it'd be good to see Alan. Albert explaining his price elasticity statement. A price difference of 10 to 15% isn't significant in terms of sales. However, of course, if you do a 50% difference, it generates significantly more sales, 10 to 15%. Okay, so like using the P6 as an example, you think that there wouldn't be significantly more sales if it was $4,500 versus $5,000. I don't know. I don't know. Ross says a P6 for his first wheel is crazy. I made the mistake by buying a Master V3. That's a heavyweight. I didn't have Master Pro, a Master Pro or a Master. I didn't even have 1 mile on it and sold it. You didn't have 1 mile on it? Oof. Ouch. Albert says the price protection was done for several parties. Consumers feel confident with value and purchase. Dealers feel confident that price gouging won't happen. Yeah, no, I get it. So I guess I assume that Inmotion has some sort of arrangement with dealers that they are not allowed to sell the wheel for less for that year time period. Albert says with all the tech in the P6, it does cost a lot, so the margins are quite small. There is a lot of tech, that's for sure. Maxim and Denisov, my friend bought Extreme Bull GT as a first wheel, and he broke his arm and leg while learning. Ouch. I don't mean to laugh. I mean, that's not good. But after this, he rode 5,200 kilometers during 1 year. Okay. Like I said, a big, heavy wheel is not ideal to learn on. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It's not ideal. Spartacus says, we can't send jewel gifts in your vertical live. What are jewel gifts, Spartacus? I don't even know what those are. I know about super chats and gifted memberships, but I don't know what jewel gifts are. Like I know in Twitch they have bits. You can gift bits, but I don't know what jewels gifts are. Spartacus, yes, I can read both chats. Like I can see if someone is on the vertical live stream or the horizontal. Like I can see that you are on the vertical. It tells me. Spartacus again, double tap your phone screen to like the stream and subscribe. I've actually had a nice bump in. Not only have I had 7 new channel members in the last week, but I've had a unusual bump in subscribers as well in the last couple weeks. Maybe it's because of the P6 content. Maybe I'm pushing to get to 16,000 subscribers. That's my next goal. But yeah, I've had a noticeable bump in subscriptions. Ra, I have an important question, a big question. You think the cops going to crack down on wheels like the e-bikes? If you watched my video my range test video on the P6, I talked about that at least in my area, there is talk about locking down on e-bikes. And my fear is they're just going to lump all PEVs into that, including electric unicycles, where they're not supposed to have more than a 750 watt hour motor, not supposed to be able to go more than 28 miles an hour. And if they exceed those specs, they're not allowed on the road. They can only be used in private property. It hasn't, as far as I know, it has not been passed yet, but that's been thrown around. Now, there also has been something that someone sent me that the Florida state troopers have in regards to PEVs and enforcement, where it shows different types of PEVs and the rules that apply to it. And in that graphic, yes, I can pull it up for you, I think. Let me see. In that graphic, it kind of makes EUC seem like they're excluded from all this stuff. Let me see if I can find it, because I actually saved it so I would have it if I ever did have an incident. I could say, "Hey, look at this. Your e-bike rules do not apply to me." Where is it? There it is. Okay. Let me share the screen. Add to the stage. Make myself small. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. So it goes about the different vehicles. If they can be operated on public roads, if helmets are required, if a driver's license is required. And if you look at electric unicycles, they actually do have their own column there. Everything is not defined. It is not defined. Whereas when you look at electric bikes, it mentions the 750 watt restriction on the motor, max speed of 28 miles an hour. Helmet required if you're under 16. Operate on public roads, yes. But with EUCs and one wheels, actually they have one wheels listed there as well, it's not defined. So, and this was a pamphlet that was handed out to Florida state troopers. So now, but the problem is local municipalities, they can have their own rules that supersede this. So, yeah, and I shared a story on that range test video where a local EUC rider reached out to me and said that he got pulled over by a county deputy doing like 35 miles an hour on one of the public roads here. And I guess he was I don't think he was in the bike lane. I think he was actually in the roadway. He got pulled over. He got warned. He got told that if he got stopped again, he could be fined and they could take his wheel away. So I have never had a negative. Actually, I really haven't had any significant interactions with law enforcement in the 9 years plus that I've been riding. That doesn't mean that it's going to always be that way. So unfortunately, it's coming. And when you see that, and again in that video, I mentioned there's this one guy. I don't remember his name. I don't know where he lives, but he's one of these guys that's all about drawing attention to himself. So he's been posting these videos on social media of him riding his wheel seated on the highway in the middle of cars, dangling his feet in front of the wheel, going God knows how fast. I don't know, 50 miles an hour plus, in the middle of the highway. videoing himself to get clicks and likes and recognition. And that stuff just drives me crazy because that's the kind of shit that if the wrong person sees it, it's just like, oh, look at this. What is that thing? That's an electric unicycle. Oh, we gotta legislate those. We have people doing stupid things on them. That kind of behavior drives me crazy, man. So, anyways, hopefully I answered your question. Unredacted truth, yes, they have a V13 Pro. The V13 Pro is what, remember, I think it was last year, Inmotion was blowing out the V13 Pros for $19.99. Remember that? They're black, like they have black accents instead of orange. Marty says you just voted on my poll. Open up a new tab to see. Okay, Marty. All right. So demanding. Hold on. Wait, no, not that. I need this, and then I gotta go here, and then I gotta go here, and then I think here. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right, this is gonna be weird because you're gonna see me. Don't lose your shit. Okay, I'm gonna show you on the narrow format. There's the poll, and I'm gonna end the poll. Can I end the poll? End the poll. Okay. So the poll results right there. They are, if you can see them. What appeals the most to you about the P6? There's 4 choices: speed, power, features, suspension, range, and appearance. 57 votes. The clear winner, the speed and the power of the P6 is the most appealing thing, 55%. Features and suspension, 33%. Range, 12%. And appearance, 0. Nobody cares about the appearance. It is a good-looking wheel. I think it's a good-looking wheel. But yeah, as far as buying decisions go, no one cared about that. Interesting. All right. I thought at least some people would care about how it looks. Guess not. You happy now, Marty? I hope so. Ross says, I left e-bikes to come to EUC, and it's a lot of people like me doing the same. Yeah, sure. It's distracting. Close that. David says, the mini of the Antic is not my thing. Looks like a toy for kids. I want a speed and something that I can also commute in Atlanta. Well, I'm almost sure the top speed is 35 miles an hour, so it's not slow. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot more like electric, like Surons and that type style device sold than EUCs. That's for sure. And maybe the Antic is trying to jump on that bandwagon. Saturn thought that YouTube was glitching. Nope, not glitching. So Unredacted Truth thought that the price protection was smart by Inmotion, made his decision to buy the P60 even easier with the price protection. Yeah, no, I agree. King X Pawn, after riding the P6, it totally changed how I ride my Sherman L. I never felt so confident leading that hard, and I only get 280 phase amps out of the possible 500 on it. I can push my Sherman L. Cool. That's cool. So Maxim says that $1,400 is for a new V13 Pro. Our local shop decided to stop selling EUCs, made a huge discount. It was insane. Lots of EUC riders bought new wheels with great prices. Yeah, that's a good deal, without a doubt. Marty says Chinese can't afford the wheels. Marty, that sounds like a racist statement. Cho Lee, I am most likely going to shred the P6 off-road. Oh, yeah? I'm concerned about that giant screen cracking like the V12. I crashed my times on my L and the screen had held up. How durable is the P6 screen? I don't know. I haven't seen anyone crash a V12S significantly that a screen crack. I don't know how durable it is, to be quite honest with you. Hopefully somewhat. Albert says, to Stan, EUC isn't leading in China because you can buy e-mopeds for 10% the cost of an EUC. Really? Oh my God. 10%? Wow. Ross says, your live is late, is it? Okay. Unredacted truth, low class act. Oh, the guy that rides seated with his feet hanging out over the front of the wheel on the highway. I guess it's low class, but it's just a look at me kind of thing. You know, look at me. You know, people that get a lot of I don't know, they get a lot of personal satisfaction from social media accolades, I guess. So Marty says sales will tank in 9 months because people will wait 3 more months for the price drop. Oh, I see. Okay. Hey, Murray's here. What's up, buddy? Stan says, does that mean that we're being overcharged for EUCs? I don't know. Albert says because EUCs don't have much volume, so it's much more expensive to manufacture. Yeah, well, that makes sense, right? It's all about volume. The more volume, the lesser cost. So that makes sense. David says P6 is the wheel where I believe I will be safer on, and the only EUC I would buy from Marty is his Oryx. An Oryx, that'd be even bigger. But thanks to P6 range test is why I'm considering getting one. Okay. No, hey, like I said, there's been many examples of people buying high-end wheels and learning on them. Just expect some bumps in the road. Let's put it that way. So Marty says you can do everything in the app on the front panel. Okay, yeah, I haven't done a side-by-side comparison. Okay, I'm kind of skipping ahead because I'm going to wrap this up soon here, guys. David, does the P6 come with pads? I don't know. I don't know if the production P6s come with pads. Mine did not. But mine, I'm a production wheel, so I just have V12S pads on it. Albert can answer that. Brave Dave says Panther isn't a bad wheel performance-wise. Yeah, no, I didn't say it's a bad wheel, but when you compare it to an Oryx, I don't understand why you would want both. Why you would own an Oryx and a Panther? That makes no sense to me. Albert says in 2021, China e-moped sales was 10 million units. Holy crap. With a 31% year-over-year growth. That's crazy. I remember, I think it was in China. Like I saw, like I don't know what the reason was, but like China, like confiscated a bunch of like mopeds and shit, and like they were running over them with a front end loader. And it was like a huge like graveyard of e-bikes and mopeds and stuff. I can only imagine what goes on over there. Okay, so the production P6s will come with the stock pads like the V12S. Okay, so similar to what I have on my V12S. Hold on one second. Hold on. Almost done. There we go. Do that. Okay. Did I mention my Thanksgiving is going to be a lot different than this year than last year? Okay, so JK Ohm, I've been a Begode fanboy since the MSX. I had an MSX 100 volt. Looking forward to an app tutorial to learn how to use all the sliders. Yeah, actually, I don't know. Maybe I need to make 3 videos yet. Now that you mentioned that, I might need to make 3 videos yet. Because yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Albert says the EUC market is like tens of thousands worldwide. Wow, tens of thousands versus 10 million just in China. That's kind of crazy, Albert. But it's good. I mean, I really appreciate you being on the stream because you have insight that is very rare and valuable. EUC Living watching on the vertical live stream. Yo, what's up, EUC Living? Maxim says, how many miles do you have in your V13? Did you have problems with the suspension? I saw a lot of comments that it can survive only 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers after you need to buy a new one or ride without it. Well, I got mine used. I did a barter deal on mine, so I got mine used, and mine came with problems. It looks like the wheel had been opened up before, and I actually put new struts on mine. Mine has 4 new struts. I totally replaced the suspension with aftermarket suspension stuff. There's a company that sells aftermarket struts that are supposedly better than the stock. I don't know if they are or not. But I did do that, and it does feel better than I remember the stock V13 feeling. Not significantly better, but better. But my V13 has less than 1,000 miles on it. But like I said, I got it used, and I think whoever had it before might have screwed it up a little bit. Ross says your live stream is late, far behind. Are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the chats? Well, like, okay, so you left that comment at 10:19 at 10:38. Yeah, dude, I'm going fast as I can. I'm losing my voice, and I'm skipping. I'm trying to skip some stuff that's not significant. You guys, I mean, I appreciate all the participation for sure. So EUC Living is J Master Skills. What's a comment on the V13 for 126 volts? Yeah, it's true. It's a 126 volt wheel. I like my V13. It's the only wheel I can ride seated comfortably. Okay, I'm skipping a little ahead. Stan, is Kuji scheduled to release a P6 review? He already did that, didn't he? Marty talking about the P9. I think he means the V9 would actually be great to learn on, lightweight and big surface area for leg, inexpensive. Yeah, I think the V9 is a great way to learn on. That dude in red. What is up, Duff? Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, say happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. It's not quite Thanksgiving, at least in Florida. Happy Thanksgiving, dude. So Spartacus, so I was asking about the jewel gifts. They're kind of like TikTok. They pop up on the screen. Really? Maybe that's something new. I'm not aware of it. Spartacus helping to promote the screen again, reminding people to hit the like button. It's absolutely free to hit the like button. Go ahead and hit that like button. I'm skipping ahead. That dude in red, I ride my Sherman S and I love it. Thinking about leaning to the P6 or the Apex. So I take a P6 over an Apex any day and twice on Sundays. I've been doing more off-road lately. Well, okay, well then maybe you want an Apex. And you might move to Florida for the family. Cool. I love my Sherman S. It's a great wheel. Stan can't believe that Florida's even thinking of enforcing a PEV law. They don't they have new beaches? Yeah, they do have some new beaches. They're thinking about it because there's been incidents. There's been people that have been killed after being struck by people on electric bikes. That's why, and that's why for years and years and years I've railed about the potential negative outcome of something bad happening with someone on a PEV, whether it be an electric bike or an electric unicycle. Yeah, so that's where it comes from. Scrolling. Maxim says we already have these regulations in Russia. You can ride your EUC if it weighs less than 35 kilograms and have 2,000 watt powers or something, or SMTH. But nobody can understand the difference, so now we are safe. Good. Okay. Yeah, I never heard about what the laws were in Russia. I always assumed that there weren't any. Albert says that the market in the U.S. is shrinking as riders leave due to injuries or reliability issues. Interesting. I guess I had a blanket assumption that every year the market was growing, Albert. That's very interesting insight to me. There's less new riders than people that have left. I get it. Brave Dave says he senses the market is shrinking too. Yeah, I just assumed because the market has been growing that it has continued to grow, but that's very interesting. That it's at least based on the numbers that Albert's seeing that it has plateaued, if not gone downward. Unredacted Truth cares about looks and would never buy a V9. I remember for a number of Inmotion wheels. I remember when I first saw them, I thought I didn't like the way they looked visually. The V9 was on one of them. The V12 was another one, and the V11. Remember when I first saw it, I'm like, that doesn't look that good. But with all three of those wheels, once I had owned them and had them in person, I liked them more. I don't know. I like the kind of quirky look of the V9. Unredacted Truth. I was kidding. Easy Living. Isn't that the Alien Rods guy? Who's the Alien Rods guy? Albert says the racing community is super niche. Yes. Yeah, I've talked about that in the past. Like the people that are pushing for race wheel, like Zen, for example, Zen Lee, he's racing, pushing the racing angle, and it's a super small segment, but a lot of the people that are in the racing scene, they are. It's like the loud minority, basically. They have a lot of social media activity, could be potentially vocal. So I think they get disproportionately a large amount of attention for what in reality is a very small segment of the EUC community. That's interesting, that Albert said that TEF1 viewership was only 200 to 300 views on the TEF1 video. Really? That's really low. That's really low. Wow. Thank you, Spartacus. I mean, Marty has Ustride as his PR department, but I'll take you over Ustride. You're doing a better job than Ustride is for Marty. Albert says if we want more products in racing as a community, we need to support racing more. Yes, I don't know. That's always been my claim is that it's not. It interests a small amount of people. I don't know that appeals that many people. But that being said, letting people like me review the P6 and Marty shows that the wheel has appeal far beyond just using it as a performance racing wheel, right? I think that's smart. I think it's smart. I mean, I think it's smart to show the high performance characteristics of the wheel, but I think it's also smart to get it in the hands of average everyday EUC riders that can appreciate other aspects of the wheel. I think that's smart. And I'm not saying that just because I have one sitting behind me right now. I got you. I know what you meant about Ustride. I got you. UC Living sync pads with next gen mobility. Sync pads with their P6s? Ratman. Okay, Murray, you came in here late. We talked about this very early in the stream. There's a new feature with StreamYard, the streaming platform that I use, where I am now able to do vertical and horizontal streaming at the same time. The way it does this is it actually creates two streams on YouTube. And if you're watching on a phone, by default, it's going to show you the vertical live stream. You can still watch the horizontal one if you want. Earlier in the chat, I post the link to the vertical or the horizontal live stream that you can watch it however you want, like the way you used to watch it. But this is kind of interesting because it actually is resulting in more concurrent viewers than I'm used to, having both of these formats out there. So that's why you're seeing that, Murray. You see living customer services close to e-wheels, what alienized, just as any replacements come from manufacturers, but they had my back on all my problems. I assume you're talking about alien rides. Just a normal man. What wheels do you currently own? Me? I own a Inmotion V13, an Inmotion 8S. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. An Inmotion V8S, Inmotion V12S, an Inmotion E20, an Inmotion V9, a NOSFET Aero, and a Veteran Patton, 7 wheels. That's what I own. I'm trying to scroll ahead to get more caught up because I really am going to need to go to bed soon. So I'd like to get caught up here before I do. Nick Fortune, you mentioned the tendency of the V9, V12 to wobble compared to the P6. Could you elaborate? Like with both of those wheels, and part of this is because of my issue with, if you've ever, people ask me, they're like, why, how comes when you ride, like it looks like your legs never touch the wheel, like your lower legs? And that's because I'm bow-legged, and it's a problem that gets worse as you get older. That's why. So that's probably part of the reason that I have more issues with wobble on those wheels, the V9 and the V12S. They are narrow, more narrow, and the Aero more narrow than the P6. But even with the P6, my legs are really not touching the wheel all that much. But it's just stable. It's just stable. I've got no wobbles at all. Like you'll notice when I'm riding my V12S, I'm usually carving. And I'm usually carving to just keep my ride smooth. If I ride dead straight on a V12S, I seem to get issues with wobble sometimes, and braking for sure. But with the P6, over 100 miles, and I haven't seen that behavior at all. It's so good in that regard. No problem at all. Combination of the weight and just the way the wheel is built. Albert's heading out. All right, buddy. Going to visit Libra Kim with Jack. Nice. I really appreciate you stopping in. I'm sure you're probably gone by now, but thanks. Stan, has anyone been to Libra Kim's factory? I don't know that I've ever seen a video about Libra Kim's factory. I've seen pretty much everybody else. Oh, he's actually there now. Okay. All right. Shoot a video. Pull out your phone. Ronan's here. Ronan, say hello to Lene. Yeah, Ronan, I mentioned the anime cartoons that you made with Sora. Very funny. King David. Well, unless Albert, I wonder if Albert answered this. King David asks, "Is it true Pagoda is working with Inmotion on X-Max?" I would be very surprised if that's true. Jose says the V9 is inconspicuous. That's why I love it. Yeah, it is. It's great. It's a great wheel. I've taken it to work. I've used it to commute to work. I only live 3 miles from my office, so yeah, it's a great little wheel. It really is. It has a surprising amount of features for what it costs. Stan, yeah, I mentioned this earlier. Stan, where's Zen? Yeah, for a while, Zen was like posting every day, leaving his thoughts on pretty much anything other than under the sun, and then he just kind of disappeared. So I don't know. I've heard nothing. UC Living. And no, Alien Rides. The guy who dangles his feet is what? Kevin from Alien? No, it's not Kevin. It's not him. Is it? Or is he like one of the Alien Rides guys? I don't know. Whoever he is, I don't think that he's doing the community any favors. That's my opinion. Unredacted Truth. He says it's terrible as EUC racing is an excellent sport. Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, I don't watch the EUC races. I don't really care about them either. But that's just, it's different strokes for different folks. It doesn't excite me. And this is a new name, EUC Chasing Pavements. I love my EUCs and been riding for 8 years now and still have 8 wheels. Okay, so you've been riding almost as long as I have. But it would not surprise me if in the next 5 to 10 years, EUCs would fade away and disappear. Hope not, but never say never. You never, yeah, who knows? I don't know. I mean, strict regulations could do that. If there are a lot of regulations that are limiting use of those devices, yeah, that could definitely hurt for sure. Geo, hey man, I've been trying to get dimensions for the P6. Are you able to get it for me? You messaged me on Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, and I have my wheel coming in December. I think I saw some of those messages. I apologize, Geo. I haven't had a chance to respond. What measurements do you want to know? What do you want? Because you said you want to make a stand or something. I mean, you want to know the height of the pedals? What do you want to know? Raw, I have a question for you, Duff. I like when people start their statements with "I have a question." It makes it more exciting for me. Did Marty go to sleep? He might have went to sleep. What's your favorite thing about the P6 and why? I don't have a singular answer for that. I've been asked that before, actually, because I like multiple things, and one isn't necessarily significantly more than the other. I love the suspension. I love the feature set. I love having all the features that they include. Inmotion includes with their wheels. I love that it has the ability to go far. I love the ability that it goes fast, that it has a high overhead, so I would never get in trouble. I think it visually is a good-looking wheel. So, yeah, I like Inmotion as a company. So, yeah, I couldn't say just one thing. Sensei's here. What's up, buddy? Sensei, are you buying a P6? Yeah, that's always been an issue. Unredacted Truth says younger people are always interested in wheels, but they can't afford them when I'm riding on the Jersey Shore. Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you look at the hobby, it's dominated by older individuals mostly that have more disposable income. It's an expensive hobby, man. I mean, we're talking about the P6, a $5,000 wheel. Kids don't have that kind of money to throw around normally. So yeah, that is a thing. But they might be able to scrape together $9.99 to get a V9. UC Living. You mustn't watch my channel very much at UC Living because I had an F22 Pro. I had it. I bought it from Alien Rides, and I sold it after about a month. Well, I didn't sell it actually. I traded it to Rob Lee at PEV Connection for an Arrow, for an Nosfet Arrow. F22 Pro had some cool features. The suspension was good and had the suspension in all 4 corners. The thing that made me not stand the wheel was the dihedral angle on the pedals. It had a very steep dihedral angle. Some people like a steep dihedral angle. I hate it. And it made it like after 10 miles, I could not wait to get off the wheel because that angle was killing my feet and my ankles. It hurt like crazy. And then hence they released the F18 The F18 has adjustable dihedral angle, so you can actually adjust it to be less severe. F22 you can't. You're stuck with that severe angle, and it sucks for me. It sucked for me. So yeah, I got rid of it. All right. So Murray likes me wide. All right, that's okay, man. Yes, I can see you're back on wide. Unredacted Truth says that Zen is a funny guy. Yeah, I've known Zen for a long time. I find him entertaining. Yeah. SXM Gator seems like the biggest pain is to do a tire change on an EUC. Well, that depends on the wheel. Some are significantly worse than others. I've done a bunch of tire changes over the years. I'm never looking forward to it, but yeah, some wheels it's not a huge deal, but some it is a bitch. It's a bitch. Spartacus says Tommy Jordan. It's so funny how Vibes is now migrated his channel to it's the Tommy Jordan show, and he's dealing with the Dabbleverse, which I still don't understand what that is. He's told Vibes told you that Mark Rebele, I don't even know who that is, got into a crash recently. I don't know who that is. All right, Gio, you need to know the dimensions of the width of the wheel, the total width. I'll do it for you right now. The width of the wheel and the height from the bottom of the tire to the pedals. Okay, hold on. All right, let's do the width. This isn't going to be exact. It'll be an eyeball. Looks like a little bit less than 8.5 inches wide. And all right. Well, bottom the pedal hangers are a little bit higher, but you're going to probably rest the stand on the battery box, or I think it's a battery box, which is a little bit lower. Whoa, that almost dropped. I'll give you both measurements. All right, to the bottom of the pedal hanger. That's about 8.25 inches to the bottom of the battery box. Bottom of the battery box from the tire to the battery. Bottom of the tongue twister. The bottom of the battery box is a fraction over 7 inches. Does that answer your questions? And I apologize for not getting back to you, but I mean, I get a lot of messages and requests on social media, so I don't necessarily have the time to respond to them. Murray, has Zen washed his hair yet? I don't know. I charged on the 120 outlet with the 5 amp stock charger. Marty turns it around. Did Marty say goodnight? Normally, like when he leaves, he checks out, or he'll notify us. But I guess I don't know. Maybe he's mad. Ross says basically the P6 is the wheel of the year, and other companies need to step it up in 2026. If you're asking my opinion, yes. In my opinion, the P6 is the best wheel that I've ever tested or ridden. You know, when you consider everything, it's the best wheel I've ever ridden. Raw, am I a speed guy? No. Am I a range guy? No. I'm neither, really. I mean, to me, like, fast riding is in the 30s. The only time I push range is when I'm doing a range test for a review. So I'm neither. I'm not either of those things. UC Living hated that angle as well. There you go. Some people like it. They feel more locked into the wheel with a high dihedral angle. I think it's like torture. Sensei's afraid to buy the P6 or ride the P6 because they know. Oh yeah, you will want to buy one. Like for me, like if someone has asked me, and this is something I will answer in my final wrap up video on the P6. And that answer may shift. I don't know, but like right now, if someone would say, "Okay, Duff, are you going to buy a P6?" and my answer would be, I want a P6. I don't need a P6. If I'm going to buy a P6, the answer is maybe. Maybe. I don't need it. I don't need it for my situation. Do I want one? Yeah. It's a great wheel. Who wouldn't want the best wheel that you've ever ridden? Stan says the max speed on the F22 was 45 miles an hour. Is that true? If so, the F22 is a fraud. Well, that is true with the initial release, but there was a firmware limitation, and my understanding is with a subsequent firmware that Kingsong released that you were able to go faster. How much faster, I don't know. Stan remembers me talking about the dihedral angle. Yes, I hated it. Yeah. I think I took a picture of the dihedral of the F22 versus like a my V13, and it was like night and day. Jason Cook, I don't know if I've seen you on a live stream before, Jason. Jason watching on his phone. I currently have an EX30, and I put my order in for the P6. Oh, nice. Do you think I'll be happy with the upgrade? Yes. The main reason for switching was because of a random cutout and bad crash on the EX30. Yes, Jason, you will be happy. I evaluated the EX30, and the P6 it's like night and day. EX30 is a good wheel. It's a good wheel by Begode standards, but the P6 it's light years ahead in my opinion. Oh, Geo wants the width of the tire. Okay. It's 3 inches. Now again, this is a Michelin Pilot Street 2, but I believe the stock tire is 3 inches wide as well. Tornado in the office? What? My office? Stan asked about the V13's width. I don't have it in here. It's out in the garage. I can't do that quickly. It's wider. V13 is wider. Um, 360 Fly is the motion alarm on it as well. Are you talking about the Ride Connect feature, the cellular modem deal that Inmotion has in the V9, the V12S? Yes, it's in the P6 as well. Cellular modem, like if your wheel was stolen, you'd actually be able to track it in the app to see where your wheel is. I mean, I want to show. I did want to mention this. I mean, this thing, it seems so impressive. Like when I got the charger, and you look at the charge port that this thing uses. Look at the. I don't know how well you'll see this. Look at the charge port for the P6. It's like a metal clasp. I mean, you feel like you're plugging in like my Tesla, basically. That's what this charge port reminds me of. Compared to, and there's no way you can mess it up. You know, compared to conventional charge ports where you have just like a little tit that you have to line up and you might mess it up and you have to feel around for it. This is like industrial charging connection. And for whatever reason, this impressed me. Just saying. King David says, nobody needs a P6. True. That is true. Some people will say they do, though. PUC living. I can do 65 in my F22 Pro, yeah. After the firmware update, though, right? You couldn't do that before. Because if you could, I don't know of anyone else that could. Oh, you guys are talking about the weather. I heard about the storms up there. Yeah, it doesn't sound that good. Did I actually catch up? I think I'm actually caught up. Oh, good. I am. I'm actually caught up. All right, guys. It's 11. It's after 11. Holy crap! I've been live streaming for 3 hours and 10 minutes. 3 hours and 10 minutes. So I think I'm going to call it a wrap. Like I said, I have 2 or 3 more videos I'm going to be shooting on the P6. I told Albert that I should be ready to ship the wheel off early next week. So I hope to get all that stuff shot. But hold on. We got some nice comments from Jason. Yes. You're welcome, Jason. I appreciate anyone that takes the time to look at my videos. And Gio says, thanks for the measurements. I bought the P6 and didn't tell my girlfriend. How mad do you think she will be? It depends on your girlfriend. If she's not mad, she's a keeper, Gio. How's that? If she's not mad, she's a keeper. Yeah, Gio might be in the doghouse. So anyways, guys, that's all I have for now. Thanks for stopping in. Look for more content in the next couple of days. And have a great Thanksgiving. It's almost Thanksgiving. I'm less than an hour away from Thanksgiving here in Florida. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving if you're in the States. Otherwise, hope you have a great weekend. That's all I have for now. And until next time, Duffman out.